Get nasty on a Tuesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 2:02 your time check. He is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Big game last night. Cardinals thrashed the Cubs. That was fun to watch.
Carey's Cubs took a beating.
Yeah, the absolute beating.
What?
How'd you do with your parlay?
Kyle Tucker went over, so I didn't.
no.
I didn't even check.
He deserved it.
Sorry.
Didn't check what Juan Soto or Austin Riley
Didn't
did,
need
'cause it
to.
didn't matter.
Didn't need to. Yeah.
Probably
Carey.
went crazy.
Feel bad for you, Carey.
No, you don't.
I don't think
Right.
you do.
I don't.
Kyle Tucker heard that Carey had him in this parlay, decided to swing at the first pitch.
Every time.
Every time.
Every damn
Well,
time.
he had a beat on what Cardinals were going to throw him.
Sure did.
Yeah, Austin Riley and Juan Soto both
Got
hit,
theirs.
as well as Pete Crow Armstrong.
So you just had Kyle Tucker. And he was the first one you said.
He's the first one. I was trying to get him before,
Oh,
the
that's
line
right.
changed.
You were the one. Yeah,
Like,
you
I
were,
need you all to
He was
hurry
the one
up.
that you were concerned
I
about.
wish the damn line would have changed.
Oh, that's when you start complaining about the
Yeah.
game.
No,
Yeah, you were complaining.
I was complaining about you, Jamie.
Nah, well,
you
I know
erasing
that.
my stuff off the damn document.
We did have an
How
issue.
much square footage do you really need? I'm operating one piece of paper, and Carey's spread out over 5 feet across the desk.
I got a lot of stuff here.
Are you moving in?
I might. I don't know.
In fairness, Carey doesn't have a lot of room
I
over there.
don't have a lot of room. Thank you.
Look at the space he's got.
Eh,
I
he's
don't
got
think I got a lot of room.
stuff.
Anthony.
All right, here.
with
You know
monitors.
what I do? I got monitors,
Extra
and computers
cameras.
and screens. There you go. Hey, all right. You feel better? Yeah, you can.
Well,
you can
as we're
infringe.
talking, you're shoving
You can-
my things out of the
I'm
way.
not shoving anything. There you go. You can move it over.
Don't touch my things.
Nah, there you go. Enough room now? You happy?
Ever. Boys, I don't need your spot. I just don't need you pushing my stuff out of the way.
Hey, can we focus? Cardinals got
What's right here?
a big win last night, 8-2.
They did.
Awesome.
Hit a lot of home runs.
Used the long ball big time last night. Jamie, your biggest storyline.
Oh, there's a lot of good ones, that's for sure. For me, biggest storyline, Matthew Liberatore. I know we can talk about the home runs and all that stuff, and we will, and that's probably part of my kudos moving forward is probably the offense or the lefties coming alive yesterday. But for me, the storyline is just Matthew Liberatore looking rock solid. 96 on his fastball. Like, everybody's complaining about the drop in velocity a couple of starts ago. He's recaptured that. So whatever it was that was nagging him seems to have disappeared. And I just keep getting more and more impressed by Matthew Liberatore as the season goes on, and he continues to just play really well.
Carey, biggest storyline.
Same. Matthew Liberatore. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. It starts with him. And we talked about it yesterday. You don't want to get in a situation where you have to go to the bullpen and burn those guys up at the start of the series. You were able to get him 7 innings. You didn't have to use Ryan Helsley yesterday because you were up by so much. Like, to me, that was the perfect outing for Matthew Liberatore and for the Cardinals. The only thing that would have been more, if you want to complain, and I don't, hey, go 8, go 9. You only threw 85 pitches. So, for me, that is the storyline. The pitching, the starting pitching, not having to burn up the bullpen, and Matthew Liberatore did an outstanding job.
My biggest storyline are the home runs. Not only were they big home runs, but they were big home runs with 2 outs. 3 of them with 2 outs in the inning. Nolan Gorman's, there wasn't 2 outs, but timely hitting for this Cardinals team. And yeah, you want to mix in Matthew Liberatore, the ability to get out of that jam, get that ground ball, double play to get out of the inning, and then the Cardinals pile on. Who knows how the game goes if the Cubs break it open in that inning. That right there was the game. And then the Cardinals continued to tack on runs and ended up blowing the Cubs out. Fly the L, Anthony.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if they fly the L, but they should. Especially
fly.
after last night.
We should fly the L.
Yeah.
Yeah, for them.
Boy, Carey, say we're back, buddy.
Same
We're
time,
back.
yes.
Yeah.
Fly the L for him.
Yeah.
That'd be outstanding.
So if it's not the home runs, it's Liberatore. I agree with you guys, Carey and Jamie. Liberatore, I think, had his defining moment last night. Maybe his biggest start thus far, based on where we are in the season and the fact that Matthew Liberatore did have some scuffles. But 7 innings, 6 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, big double play to escape that 5th inning jam. I mean, that could have been it for
By the
me.
way, can we talk about that for a second?
The play that Arenado made?
What a great play by Nolan Arenado.
To stay down on that.
Stayed and then quickly get it over to the right base right away. I mean, it was impressive.
Kids, you want to play third base?
Yeah.
You want to play infield? Watch Arenado, the way he handled that
What you got to do?
that ground ball.
How about that missile that was hit towards him?
Yeah.
The camera couldn't even keep up on the instant replay. It happened so fast.
Stay down on it. Great play. So defense has been outstanding. Victor Scott hunted a few balls down that I don't know if a lot of center fielders would get. He does. The defense has been excellent this season for the Cardinals. I love the fact that Liberatore was great. Used the cutter the one time to get Ian Happ. Liberatore I thought was outstanding, and he to me was the biggest storyline. Your biggest kudos?
I mean, for me, it's got to be the left-handed bats. Bottom line. You're getting guys on base, and the lefty bats are driving them home. Donovan, Burleson, Gorman, Newpar. I think it was a big lefty day. So my kudos are to the lefty bats.
I mean, you can pick a person. I guess I'll go with Wilson Contreras. He was smoking baseballs yesterday. 3 for 4, had a double. Like he is what you want in the middle of the lineup. He did a great job yesterday. But you can tip your cap to pretty much any of those guys. They all did a fantastic job.
Marsh?
I'm going to give my kudos to just the offense as a whole, Carey.
Anthony.
Marsh?
Because it seemed like their approach early on in that game was to try and swing at everything. There were 5 pitches thrown in that first inning.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get to the starting pitcher early, but then as the game proceeded, it seemed like they changed their approach, and that's when they ended up scoring. So I'm going to give a kudos to them in the way that they adjusted throughout the game.
I'm going to give my kudos to Brant Brown. I mean, we talk about the home runs. How about Brown coming up? I mean, the players talked about how he tailored, the approach to how they were going to attack the Cubs pitching staff. I love the fact that Brown, not only he's coming up with custom plans and their matchups, specific prep. I think that he's just unlocked a lot of these hitters.
I think he's made them more relaxed.
More, whatever it is.
Whatever the word is you're looking for.
Brant Brown's fingerprints are all over a win like that when you have, Jamie, as you mentioned, all the lefties hitting the home runs. Brant Brown has been excellent as a hitting coach.
What do you guys think about this text from the 910? Yesterday, you said the Cardinals are only NL Central contenders. They're only 5 games back of the best record in the National League.
If I compare them to what the Dodgers have, what the Mets have, what the Phillies have, I realize that some of those teams the Cardinals won series against this year, including the Dodgers, including the Phillies, and I think they got, 2 of 3 against the Mets as well here. When I compare, though, to what they bring to a short series and what the Cardinals bring to a short series, I stop short of calling them more than National League a National League Central contender. Maybe my opinion will change throughout the course of the year, but right now I don't think that's a ridiculous statement to say that the Cardinals still don't match up, at least on paper, with the Mets, the Phillies, and the Dodgers. Let alone maybe even the Padres and Giants.
What about the Cubs?
Well, that's where I'm at, right? Cubs, I think the Cardinals match up with the Cubs, which is why I'm confident in saying that they're a National League Central contender. What about you guys?
Do you want to think about the Cardinals?
Yeah, well, compared to, or at least in relation to what we got with that text.
Yeah, the texter is right, but it's almost like cherry picking at the right time as well. Because if you were to put the Cardinals out there on the field against the Dodgers right now, and you had $100 left in your bank account, and you were forced to bet it on one team or the other, I don't think the texter's putting the money on the Cardinals.
But Jamie, they
you would get good value, though, right?
That's what they would say.
What's that?
They beat the Dodgers. That's what that person would
I know,
say.
but I'm saying, Carey, if I asked the texter to take their last $100 and had to pick one or the
in
other.
their life, the only $100 they got left.
Yep.
How likely is that to happen?
I don't know, guys. Just play the damn game, though.
Hypothetical, guys. Come on.
Jesus.
Jeez. All right, biggest criticism?
Ben Brown.
Ben Brown. The Cubs
Actually,
fans,
he
Cubs
might be my
fans would agree.
kudos.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know if there
I
is.
don't have one.
I don't think I have one from yesterday's game. Everybody did their job the way they're supposed to do their job.
I don't think you have any criticism last night. Eight out of the 9
clapped
guys.
maybe a couple of times,
Stubby clap, yeah.
Pop Warner, holding runners too much. I don't know.
Maybe the dirt from first to second that made Colorado
Trip.
fall.
Yeah.
See, bad
Bit of a
boy's
wide
fault.
turn.
You should have told him his spikes had
Well,
mud.
you know what? There was a hate to call this person out. There was an attendant or whatever, the ball boy down the right field line. Foul ball went right between the legs. Yeah.
Oh, he didn't get low on it.
Didn't get low like you said.
Hate to see it.
So maybe that's the biggest
He wasn't
criticism.
watching Arenado.
Yeah.
It's hard to criticize when, one, you beat your biggest rival, two, you beat your biggest rival that is ahead of you in the standings, and three, 8 of the 9 hitters in your lineup all got hits.
Yeah.
And the one who didn't, Mason Wynn, drew a walk and scored a run. Everybody contributed last night. Defensively, offensively, pitching staff was excellent, so I'm with you guys. Biggest question following this game?
Can you do it again?
Can you do it again?
Oh, wow, look at
That's
you
it.
guys. You guys
Again
are just
and again
can't
and again.
satisfy you guys at all.
You know that, Jamie. You know you are. I mean, that's the part of being a professional athlete. You did
Yeah.
it once. Now, good.
Do it again.
You wake up the next day, do it again.
Nobody cares.
Yep.
Michael McGreevy tonight, boys. Michael McGreevy on the hill.
Eminem.
Will face Jameson Tyone.
Oh, Eminem.
That's a hell of a matchup.
Eminem.
Michael
what he got.
McGreevy. What do you think his
Give one
middle name
shot.
is?
Matthew.
Yeah. Triple M.
Michael
Triple M?
Matthew McGreevy.
Yeah. I like it.
Jamie, what do you think? What's your guess?
Michael James McGreevy.
Okay.
That's a good. That's a.
Marshy?
I like that one.
I like that one too. I don't think it's Triple M. I'm gonna say Michael Anthony sounds good, doesn't it? Michael Anthony McGreevy.
It is Michael Stephen McGreevy. And he'll
Michael
go tonight.
Stephen Matz McGreevy.
MSM. Madison Square Mini Mall. How do we feel about the Blues rebranding? The Blues released the new look sweater / jersey / uniform tonight. What do we, earlier today, what do we think? I can't wait to hear what Marshy's opinion is
Oh, the
because
jersey guy, yeah.
nobody cares about jerseys and logos and the look like Marshy does. Did you go to school at one point for
I went
graphic
initial,
design?
Yeah, initially I went to be graphic design.
So you have an eye for it, you have a passion for it. I'm real
He
interested.
left as an R&B singer.
He did, yeah.
He's a rapper.
Yeah.
I did the
A
R&B.
little bit of both.
Yeah. Well, he did actually.
You guys should collab.
Yeah. We talked about it.
Jamie will play drums.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fast on 101 ESPN. Again, we'll get into the Blues rebranding next on 101 ESPN. discussed yesterday, the Blues were going to unveil their new primary uniforms, and they did so this morning, and they are inspired. And Marsh, Jamie, I give you guys credit. You guys both discussed this yesterday, thinking that it could be inspired by the Winter Classic jerseys and their brands, or their rebrand that they announced today. It's exactly what it was. It's inspired by the Winter Classic jersey. What do you guys think? Jamie is a former Blue, somebody who wore the Blue Note for multiple years in multiple different, on multiple different occasions.
Yep.
Because you came back to the Blues at one point.
I did.
What do you think of these puppies?
I love them. I do. I really do. I mean, I'm a big fan of that. They're calling it St. Louis Blue now, but the Heritage Blue jersey that they had from 2017, the very first time for the Winter Classic. Love that jersey, and I love what they did with the white jersey. Are there a couple things I'd like different? There's only one, really, is I would like to see a little more of a hard outline around the numbers.
Yep.
But that's it. The rest of it, to me, is a home run, and you know, they'll have the ability to tweak some things over the next year or two. And like they always do, there's little things, there's subtle tweaks that they don't really talk about. But no, man, if I was a player, I'd be proud as hell to wear that uniform. I think the NHL, and I've said this for a number of years now, Marshy, you might agree, disagree, I don't know. But the American Hockey League, the East Coast Hockey League, college hockey, junior hockey, all that stuff, they wear their dark jerseys at home for the first half of the season and their white jerseys at home for the second half of the season. The whole league. So that you get to see both jerseys.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Because right now, everybody Enterprise is only going to get the blue jersey. They go see the team on the road, you get to see the white jersey and whatnot. But wouldn't it be cool halfway through the season if you just flipped it?
Yeah.
Every team in the league.
Yeah.
And that
I
way
would
your
like that.
fans all get to see both versions of your uniforms.
Well, it doesn't have to be half and half. It could just be, hey, tonight we're wearing white. And
That
maybe
becomes a
next
logistical nightmare for the trainers, though. I asked them about that one time. And then there's some teams that are on the road for 6, 7, 8 days, and now they're carrying 3 different colors of jerseys and socks and all that stuff. So just make it easy. Before, the All-Star break, we're in blue. After the All-Star break, everybody wears white at home. And
I like that. I like that idea.
And then the playoffs, the teams can communicate, or the league then just has a hard stance on it. For playoffs, dark at home or white at home. So, but I love the uniform. Love it.
Marsh, the graphic designer on the team here, on the Fastlane team.
I think Jamie nailed it. My biggest gripe with the uniform is the numbers, the no outline. It bothers me, but it's not something that I can that I'll hold on to forever. I'm sure once the season rolls around and we start watching games and I get to look at the jersey close up, it'll grow on me. But right now, my initial thought is I don't enjoy the numbers on the white jersey. I don't mind just the yellow number on the blue jersey, but the white jersey, just the blue. I don't like the numbers. I don't. But I tell you what I do like, and it's something that's not featured on the jersey. And now that I see it, I wish it was. Is these new secondary logos that they have, the fleur-de-lis and the STL. These things are sick. I would love to see, and I know the STL logo is on the pant, but the fleur-de-lis logo that they made, I think it's a treble clef.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That thing should be on the shoulders.
Yeah.
That thing is awesome.
And you might see that. You never know. This is just the first iteration. The Blues and Fanatics and whatnot can figure this out before they have the actual jerseys made. To my knowledge, they haven't made any jerseys yet, even for I don't even believe there's some for sale yet. I think they're waiting on some of that, too. There's T-shirts and hats and things like that. But, yeah, I think that that fleur-de-lis is pretty sick. The STL on the pants is cool. Love it.
Carey?
I think it looks good. I love the color. I think it brings out the gold by being a little bit lighter as opposed to the darker blue. It's a nice jersey. Nice sweater for the hockey team.
Would you wear that thing, Carey?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, So I don't. I have a rule. I don't know if it's a rule. I don't really wear jerseys.
Oh well,
I don't either anymore.
Anthony scratched that gift off.
Yeah, I didn't know he didn't, but I'll.
I do. I'll wear a jersey, a helmet.
I wear my own jersey.
Sometimes on the same day.
Jersey,
Like if I'm at an event, yeah, where we
At an
like
event.
in Pittsburgh, we have they give us a
I
jersey.
thought you just
to wear.
wore your own jersey out on a Friday
thought about
night
it,
to like
yeah.
the corner pub on Highway K or
and
something.
do this,
Like,
point at the back.
By the way,
Dave is 39. That's me.
That's
That's
38.
me.
me.
38.
Oh, what's
Excuse
that
me.
on your hand?
39.
That's a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody, pay attention.
Boom.
I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want when you got the ring. So.
My favorite part about this is they've eliminated the double blue.
Oh yeah, Anthony had a really
I
big issue with this.
Oh, you didn't like the double blue.
I do not like the different shades of blue that some teams wear. The jersey was fine for the Blues last year. Cool logo, great, all that. The blue, the different shades of blue being gone, I'm all for. I think this is a sleek look. And I love there's a bit of a nostalgic feel to it as well. Mm-hmm. It's not outdated though. I've seen some people say it's a little plain, it lacks imagination. I don't think so.
It's crisp.
I think so too.
It is crisp.
I love the fleur-de-lis. I love the STL, treble clef. I love the trumpet and the arch added to it. I think having that location-based pride to your jersey makes a lot of sense. I love the fact that, you know, fans have been calling for the Winter Classic jersey.
They have.
Permanently. And now it's here. So the Blues obviously listening to their fan base, bring it back. But for me, eliminating that dark blue, then the light blue, I'm all for
Really
it.
got you, eh, bud?
Really got me.
Yeah,
Going back to the number thing.
It's weird.
One of the worst jerseys in the NFL, the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, they're terrible. Before that, it
How
was
many
the
different
Falcons.
shades of blue? What do you mean before that with the Falcons?
Falcons have terrible jerseys.
What?
Yes.
Why? What's wrong with them?
What do you mean what's wrong with them? The font sucks.
Oh, wow.
The ATL is about the size of my hand. That should not be that big.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Now the throwbacks, cool.
Hold on. Black helmet,
Back to
black
you.
jersey,
Wait.
white pants. That's a sharp look.
No, the jersey itself looks stupid.
Black and white though. Black jersey,
Well, yeah,
white
no, the
pants.
color scheme's fine. Color
just the
scheme is
jersey.
fine. It's
Okay.
the jersey itself and how
fine.
it looks. You know, the Jacksonville Jaguars when they had the black and gold black and gold helmet.
Yeah.
That was terrible. The Buccaneers before Tom Brady got there, terrible. But these Blues uniforms, I mean, they're pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
The
Yes.
numbers, though,
Yes, Carey.
The Titans, baby blue, you hate?
With the dark
you
blue, with
sick?
the dark blue like on the shoulder or whatever.
The love you, baby blue, like the old Oilers.
No.
No. I said nothing about the Edmonton Oilers. Those jerseys.
Edmonton
I'm
Oilers.
sorry, the Houston Oilers. Okay, there's a
you
far
did that on
stretch.
purpose?
They
No,
just
I
played.
thought you were
I thought
thinking
you did
of
it on-
Warren Moon, and you were trying to say the Edmonton Eskimos.
Honestly, I did have Warren Moon in mind.
See?
That baby blue with the number 1 on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, dude, that jersey?
You.
That's incredible. No, I'm talking about the Tennessee Titans with the light
they were
blue
that.
and the dark blue. No, when they were the old
love you.
Oilers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Yeah.
We got to clarify here because you.
No, come on. They're
Yeah.
regular jerseys.
Yeah. All right.
They suck.
Just making sure.
the numbers, though, for the Blues, I understand why they are the color they are, because if you made them look exactly like the Winter Classic jerseys, people probably wouldn't buy them.
Very true.
Wow.
Because they already have them.
Right.
So you have to make it look different. That's why superheroes get new costumes, right? You got to sell more toys.
Is that what?
You're right.
It makes sense.
Whoa, Marshy.
What?
Are you saying that people are just trying to make more money?
Always.
How dare they do
believe
that?
that's exactly what
with
he's
their
saying.
own product.
Oh, that kind of Carey. You know what that kind of reminds me of? American Gladiators. Didn't get
They didn't get
paid.
paid a dime. Broken
Signed
legs,
the worst deal ever.
torn shoulder, rotator cuffs.
Hey guys, nobody told them they had to do it.
Then
tears.
they eliminated the steroids, so they can't even properly heal.
Oh man,
Or improperly heal.
They can't heal in 3 days.
that's ridiculous. It was.
So stupid.
That was hard to watch, man.
How many shows were you shooting today? 4. Get out there. All right. And no
Or don't-
steroids this time.
Or don't make money.
Or don't make money.
That's it. They had a choice.
They didn't really have a choice.
They had a choice.
I don't think they had a choice.
They had a choice. One, they were presented a contract that told them the outline of what was going on. They signed the contract. Then if they didn't like it, they could quit.
You know what? You're right. just a little shady with the contract.
very-
there.
Well, you didn't
shady.
wait. You didn't think the Elvis/Wayne Newton looking guy? You think he was shady?
I didn't think so until he started talking.
Yeah.
And I was like,
wait a minute.
he's
The first
very
time I
shady.
laid eyes on that guy, I'm like, that guy screwed everybody over. And didn't even
That's the one.
That's the guy.
Yeah, and of course we're referencing the Netflix documentary on the American Gladiators. I can't remember what it's called. The title's called, but
There's a couple of different ones.
It's
It's
real
hard- it's a
tough.
hard watch.
It's a hard watch. Yep. All right. Did the Cardinals actually end up winning the Randy Arozarena trade? Can we say that now? What? The way Matthew Liberatore is pitching, or is it still jury's still out? That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals defeat the Cubs last night by a final score of 8-2. They'll be back at it again tonight. 6:45 first pitch. Michael McGreevy will take the mound for the Cardinals, and we'll play the lineup game once the lineup comes out, so stay tuned for that. Also, we just got done talking about the Blues as they unveiled a new look today. Updated logo, new sweaters. We'll talk with Alec Steen at 4:30, so stay tuned for that as well. Did the Cardinals actually end up winning the Randy Arozarena trade? We'll discuss that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
As March just mentioned in the Sports Center update, did the Cardinals actually win the Matthew Liberatore trade? Or is it still the Randy Arozarena trade? Jamie, what do you think?
Listen, you look at Randy Arozarena's numbers, and over the course of his 7 years, he's got an OPS of 780. That's a pretty good number. It's not elite. It's good. It's above average, I would say. You?
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. The rest of his numbers are still, they're average to above average. Did he have the breakout moment with Tampa as soon as he got there in that postseason that went on an absolute tear?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of influenced a lot of people, as it should. But then since those years, he's leveled off, and he's leveled off more of that of an average to slightly above average outfielder in the majors, which is fine. It's still a good trade for...
What's his war?
Sorry. I don't know, Carey. Could you please be quiet?
I'm sorry.
You don't like war.
I know.
I'll look it up, too.
Well, it's 2.7 this year.
Is that good or bad?
It's pretty good.
It's decent.
It's decent. Okay. But his war in Tampa was 4.2. And then again, 2.5, 3.4. So then it dropped substantially to 1.7, 0.7, 1.0. Anyways, since you brought up war and you love it that much, Carey, I thought I'd give you the whole breakdown.
Thank
you. My point is that the trade doesn't look so terrible now. It just doesn't. And, Matthew Liberatore was, I believe he was a top 10 pick this draft year. I could be wrong with that, but...
Well, he was the top pitching prospect, at least left-handed, in the Rays organization when they made the deal.
Yeah, I forget what he was
16th.
16th. Okay.
In the first round.
Yeah, 16th in the first round. And I just watching him play this year, and it's in particular watching him play last night. He had the one bump in the road, but then he had a nice outing against the White Sox and another one here. I'm starting to think that the Cardinals didn't lose that trade.
Carey, where you at?
I think they needed, obviously you need pitching at all times. I think, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's an entire career. You're going to base it, as long as he's here, as long as Randy Arozarena is playing, wherever he is, you're always going to compare those two. But it is a marathon, and I think Liberatore may have gotten out of the gate slower than Randy Arozarena did, obviously. But now that he's getting the opportunity, and he's had some hiccups here and there where he struggled in some starts, but last night was an outstanding performance. And if you can get that version of him, 3 out of every 4 starts, I think you will be extremely happy with the player that you have and the trade that you made. Is he better than Randy? I don't know.
Maybe we
laugh
should
about
steer
it.
clear of who won the trade
Well,
and start to argue if it was just a good trade.
Well, I laugh about it because we do talk about WAR, and if that's the basis of how good a player is, Randy Arozarena's career WAR is 15, and Matthew Liberatore's is 1.
Yeah, but Matthew Liberatore, this is his first year of actually
Or
being
0.5.
So that's kind of where I'm at. So the Cardinals, to go back, the Cardinals received Matthew Liberatore Edgardo Rodriguez, a catcher, and a competitive balance round B draft pick. The Rays received is actually the Jose Martinez trade. That's funny.
I know. Arozarena was kind of a throw-in.
Yeah, the Rays knew exactly what they were doing, though. They got Randy Arozarena, they got Jose Martinez, and they got a compensation pick. Now, Randy Arozarena, basically a playoff legend in 2020. I mean, the historic 10-home run postseason run, nearly carried the Rays to a World Series title. Consistent throughout 21 through 24, 20 to 25 home runs, 20-plus stolen base player, all-star in 2023. In 2025, he's got off to a slower start, but he's hitting pretty well right now. Matthew Liberatore, 2020 to 2023, look, he was completely up and down, didn't have much consistency. 24-25 started to turn a corner. He had some, decent outings as a reliever, and that's where I thought that's ultimately what I thought he was going to be. Poor man's version of Andrew Miller. The Cardinals, to their credit, said, no, we still view him as a starter. We're going to give him the runway this year. Let's let him roll. And he has repaid them by being their second best starter this year, if not first at times. But the Cardinals have thus far lost the trade. We can't ignore the fact that Randy Arozarena did what he did in Tampa, and Matthew Liberatore struggled. But with what Liberatore's doing now, it's too early to really decide whether the trade was won or lost overall. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
The window has now opened up again. But before it was like, look, it was a busted trade.
Landslide.
It was a landslide, Randy Arozarena. We'll see what Liberatore does. If Liberatore's just a reliever, it's probably not going to. Now it's like, whoa, wait a second. The Cardinals have caught up now in this race.
So let's word it differently. Let's not worry about who won the trade. Okay. Let's just say Tampa wanted an outfielder. They got him at the time. They got a good outfielder. They didn't keep him, but they got a good outfielder at the time. Yep. The Cardinals wanted to pick up a pitcher, a high-end prospect pitcher, and they did, Matthew Liberatore. Mm-hmm. And now, both players, Randy Arozarena, he certainly reached not his peak, but he became a regular a lot quicker than Liberatore did. But now moving forward, as the Cardinals look to become a playoff team again and the years to come, you'd have to say that the Cardinals got what they wanted, because this looks like he's going to be a mainstay in the rotation as a top end of the rotation guy.
Can I play the devil for a second?
Oh, please do.
Could you have said, though, that the Cardinals needed that right-handed power bat?
You could have.
From 2020 to 2011.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Okay?
I understand. Let's play the game.
At that point, Arozarena had obviously not done enough for the Cardinals to be confident.
Sure.
Either the front office or Mike Schilt didn't have confidence in Arozarena because they weren't giving him his time.
Right.
The Rays didn't care because they're like the rebuild team all the time. Mm-hmm. So they're like, we traded for a guy. Some of the numbers looked good here. They had some nerd in a dark room clicking away and said, you know what? Maybe this guy works.
Right.
Have them throw him into the trade. Okay. And all of a sudden he's Reggie Jackson, it is what it is when it comes to that. And the Cardinals, could they have used that middle of the order power? Of course they can. But now they need the pitching. Now they do. And now they have it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm saying it's not a win-lose. It's kind of like the scale was so lopsided for so long, and now it's like, in the now, it's kind of leveling out a little bit
tipping.
better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if Liberatore winds up being a top-of-the-rotation arm, I will take the top-of-the-rotation arm for 5-6 years compared to even a power bat for 3. That's the way I feel. So if Liberatore has to be one of those top end arms.
Yeah.
Because if it was 4, I remember saying, well, if he's a 4 or 5, at least you salvage something.
He's more. You need him to be more like a 2.
If he's a 2,
I need him to be what he is right now.
At the very least, it's a draw, and both teams got black eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like both teams had a couple of good haymakers. You're walking away saying, not bad, but you know what? I got a black eye. That's kind of where I think this trade is trending. Again, assuming that Matthew Liberatore winds up being what we're seeing right now.
And ultimately for me, when I thought about this, was just that I couldn't have imagined a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even having this discussion.
I agree. There you go. That, I think, is the bigger takeaway. I agree. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. The NFL head coach, hot seat is always at the very least warm, especially as we draw closer to the season. Which NFL head coach is currently on the hot seat? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, getting old sure can suck sometimes, that's for sure. And with age comes changes. And I went through some changes. I didn't even realize it was going on, but I couldn't figure out why. I just wasn't motivated. I was working a lot, no energy, fatigue, stressed out, irritable. I mean, prickly, just irritable.
Carey and I noticed.
Yeah.
We didn't say anything, though.
No, imagine how bad it used to be. Well, that's where I was. And then I went into Mentality and talked to their board-certified physicians, and they do the blood draw. I found out, well, no wonder. Low on testosterone, and it affects everything in men. Whether you're 30, 40, 50 years old, doesn't matter. If your testosterone is below the levels where it needs to be, you're going to underperform.
So Mentality, one, they offer FDA-approved testosterone therapy. That's number one. Two, it's covered by most insurances. So if you're worried about, well, this is going to cost me an arm and a leg to just feel my best again, I mean, one, your health is most important, right? You want to live as long as you can, but you want to live your best life. You want to be the husband that you want to be. You want to be the father that you want to be. Well, when it comes to Mentality, they can help get you that drive back. You can burn off that belly fat. You add more muscle. You be in the best mood, right? Because I felt the irritability as well. And it stinks to have to go constantly like, one day I feel fine, next day I feel like I've got no energy and I'm irritable. Mentality helps regulate all that. MentalityHealth.com/radio is where you can check them out online. Or you can also just go in. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you. 2 different locations, one in South County, one in Chesterfield. It's Mentality. NFL coach is on the hottest of hot seats. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter. Carey?
Yeah.
Who do you got?
On the hottest of hot seats?
The hottest of hot seats.
Brian Dable. Like, for me, he is.
I wouldn't even sit down if I was
how I
him.
wrote down.
I don't think it's even close.
Yeah.
18-32 in his 3 years as a head coach.
Just one playoff win.
And that was his
Sorry,
first
Marshy.
year. Quarterback issues with Daniel Jones. Decided to give Daniel Jones an extension, which I thought was intriguing.
Well, in fairness, Daniel Jones had a gun to his head.
Okay, probably. Maybe. Maybe not.
You know what? I don't think
That didn't happen.
I don't think it happened at all.
That didn't happen at all.
No.
That was a clear joke. I don't think it happened.
That didn't happen.
That was not factual. What
Just
we just
your
all said.
opinion of a joke.
No,
It was
not
just
even
our
an opinion.
opinions.
It's
Yeah.
a joke.
Yeah.
That wasn't even funny. We didn't laugh.
No.
I didn't laugh.
I didn't either.
Nothing
Yeah.
funny about
So,
it.
yeah, Brian Dayball.
We had a 1 hour training just today, led by corporate about things we can and cannot say. Again, I just want to be clear.
Probably falls under the umbrella of things you should not say.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So
Anthony
Brian
clearly
Daboll,
did not take control of that.
he didn't do it.
No, not this time.
18-32 in 3 years. Quarterback issues. Just drafted a first-round quarterback. Has a couple of retreads at quarterback in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Jackson Dart was the first-round quarterback they drafted this year. If they don't win, and I mean probably playoffs, I doubt that they'll win the division because that division is too good with the Eagles, the Commanders, Dallas are probably they're probably the third or fourth best team in that division. He's probably fired week 10 if they are not having a winning record or trending in the right direction.
I agree. That's the person I wrote down versus Brian Dable. You mentioned it, the 18-32 record over the 3 seasons, just the one playoff win. Had the Cinderella season in 2022, but they collapsed in 2024. They had a 3-14 record. The offseason moves aren't great. And he has to be culpable. It's not just the GM. Like, the head coach and GM need to work together. And they have not. That team wasn't ultra talented in 2023. Things just kind of came together for them. And 2022, I should say. He coached the hell out of those guys. But then the following year wound up being like, hey, we've made it. And they completely collapsed.
The problem for me with him is he allowed the extension for Daniel Jones to be signed. Like, he saw him play and said, yeah, give him more money. Like, you're the head coach. You and the GM, and maybe it was out of his control, but as a head coach, I think you have a little more say in whether or not, hey, you think you want Saquon or Daniel? Yeah, what has Saquon ever done?
Right.
What the hell is wrong with you? So for me, that alone, if you don't win with Jackson Dart or Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston, you'll probably be fired midway through the season.
Can I bring up a name that you guys, it's not like a Sam Darnold moment by any means. Or maybe it is.
Something out of the box and
Something
creative
out
that
of the
nobody else
box.
thought of. If so, I'm in.
You can
For
just
good
stop with
reason.
out of the box. Not creative and not a good answer.
I think out of the box and
where you-
creative are together.
I'm thinking of a head coach for a team that,
Can I guess?
yes,
You want to go on 3?
me and you,
Yeah.
locking eyes,
Come
even
on.
though that's
Wow.
against the rules.
Right.
Shouldn't ever make eye
1,
contact.
2, 3,
Zach
Mike
Taylor,
McDaniel.
son of a.
Zach Taylor is a great one.
Damn.
I think
That's
Sorry.
a great answer.
I think that
Thank
one
you.
is too.
Mike McDaniel in Miami.
All right, fair. Yeah.
I've heard rumblings out of there, reading some articles that, like, they're kind of over him. They're kind of over his shtick, you know?
I can see how that isn't as quirky and fun when you're,
So
not hanging 5 points a game on the opponent.
I don't think he's on as hot of a seat as Zach Taylor is. Zach Taylor, I think that course, it's starting to run its course. You can't figure out anything defensively. You got studs on the offensive side in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and you got an offense seems like it's ready to be in championship mode, but you can't figure out the defense. Mike McDaniel is 28-23 in his 3 years. Last year, you got to take that one off because Tua missed I don't know how many games. Yeah, Tyler Huntley, who, I mean, you couldn't even throw. It was tough to watch. So I don't put that on Mike McDaniel. Your quarterback has to stay healthy. You got to figure out a way to keep him upright. I would take that off. The year before, they went 11-6, had a chance to win the division, and ended up having to go to Kansas City and playing the coldest of coldest games probably in history. People were losing limbs that decided to stand out there.
But why did they play that game?
Because they didn't win the division
down the stretch.
They stunk down the stretch. But again, for me, Mike McDaniel wouldn't be on as hot of a seat as a Zach Taylor, because that is
that whole organization is in shambles, and that starts from the top.
Oh, yeah.
And if they continue to lose, I think they should
It
move
is
to St.
mostly
Louis.
at the top.
That one we did catch, Marsh. 46-52-1 for Zach Taylor with Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be all Zach Taylor's fault, because the front office decided to take away their best defensive players, just decided to let them walk year after year after year. Now they did have to use that money on, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but ultimately I think Zach Taylor's going to be the fall guy in that one. Mike McDaniel I think is interesting, but 28-23 in 3 seasons, a couple of playoff bursts. I don't know if the hot seat is quite too hot. Let me throw out another name for you guys. What about Shane Steichen? 17-17, 2 seasons. The third season tends to be the one where NFL owners are like, "Hey, you got to do something here." It's that meme where it's like, "Do something." High expectations initially with Anthony Richardson. I
was gonna say,
I don't know
like,
what now, but
3 years, is that enough for the team he took over?
it shouldn't be enough. But I'm just thinking of like NFL
matter.
and new owners.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
ish.
The owner,
Yeah, because obviously
the daughter's taking over.
Yeah, the daughter's taking over for
Jim Irsay.
Yeah, who passed away. But I don't know, that name kind of came to mind as well.
When I look at this list of names, and I can give all the names on here, we talked about Daboll, we talked about Steichen, Mike McDaniel, Kevin Stefanski from the Browns, Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor might be the only one on that list that has a quarterback, but Joe Burrow often every other year comes into the season injured or banged up. But all of these coaches that are on the hot seat have quarterback issues. Mm-hmm. Either their quarterback can't stay healthy, they got a quarterback that is not good enough to pass the test or allow you to win games. If you don't get the quarterback situation right, you're probably going to be looking for a new job at some point. Now, I'm going to go to my last one on the list, which is a name that if he does get fired, he'll be hired, in probably 2 weeks.
Here we go.
Steelers. Yeah, Mike Tomlin. It's about time to get some fresh blood in there, don't you think, Carey?
It's time, but I don't know if it's time. He got 183 wins, Jamie.
Yeah, he got 182 losses, too.
It would
Super
make
Bowl.
sense. Aaron Rodgers gets another coach fired.
Very true. Good point.
He said this is probably his last year.
Yeah.
So Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers, last season of his storied career. If it doesn't go well, and this is the guy that you chose to go out, if your first season is under 500 is with Aaron Rodgers, and that's the guy you waited the entire time for, I don't know that it would be a firing, but maybe it would be a mutual parting. I don't know that the Steelers would say, "All right, we're done with you got 183 wins. Like you're one of the best coaches, especially in this era." You don't just fire a guy like that, but maybe there's a mutual understanding that, hey, you know what, we can go our separate ways. And again, Mike T will be hired in 2 weeks because you want a guy like that leading your organization. But it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out.
My question for you is, why then get rid of that guy? Who would be better that would be available to take over such a brand as the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Besides Brian Schottenheimer, you mean?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't think he's...
It's a situation, Marshy. It's kind of like, if we're going to keep it local, it's kind of like when the Blues moved on from Craig Berube.
Right.
You're like, who's going to replace Craig Berube? Well, they didn't really have a replacement until Jim Montgomery came around. And then Jim Montgomery saying that he gets fired in Boston. Why would you fire this guy?
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting comparable.
It's
Yeah,
just...
that's good.
Sometimes it's just a fresh voice that's equally as good or close to the same. And teams just move on eventually.
Yep. By the way, speaking of our Blues, Alexander Steen will be joining us at 4:30. So we'll have him live. We'll have Steener live. We'll ask him about the redesign and also what he learned most over the last year as he stepped into his new role. So Alexander Steen joins us at 4:30. Does Alec Burleson deserve to be in the everyday lineup now? Does he deserve the runway, even when he does cool off eventually, to just be one of the guys that's in the lineup every day. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Swing, high fly ball again, deep right. Tucker going back. That one's gone too. Chip might have to make a run for more fireworks. The Cardinals powering up again. This time it's Alec Burleson.
I thought I told you I'm a star.
Chip Carey, Brad Thompson, FanDuel Sports Network on the call as Alec Burleson touches seats again. That is Andrew Marsh's St. Louis star.
Yes, he is.
Alec Burleson.
My home run game star.
Yes, true. So you got one. Did you get one too? No, you got one. Gorman.
Carey did.
You snaked Gorman from me too.
Sorry.
I should have went with Newt, but
You should have.
Who's going to go with the guy that's already got 7-8 home runs? And with Wilson Contreras, who has let us down time and time again.
He went 3 for 4 yesterday.
Yeah, no, he had a nice day. He really did.
You should pick somebody that was in the lineup.
Marsh chose somebody wasn't.
Yeah, Thomas Sajaci.
Yeah.
Off the bench.
You know what? He was due off the bench. He really was.
I can't believe they didn't go to him late in the game.
Probably should have. Give Arenado a break. It was hot outside.
It's hot out here.
Yeah.
It's hot in these rhinos.
Sure is.
Should Alec Burleson, even if he does cool down, is he a everyday player? Should he be in the lineup every day? And before you rush to well, yeah, of course. Don't forget you're sacrificing somebody else consistently too, and that somebody else is probably Jordan Walker.
Well, things are a little easier for Ollie with Herrera out of the lineup. Excuse me. I get emotional talking about it.
Oh, yeah,
I feel
sure.
bad for the guy.
No, it's
Bad,
tough.
injury, the hamstring, all that stuff.
Absolutely. You've battled through hamstring injuries. It's tough.
They're not fun. They are not fun. But that, from a roster standpoint, that has made things easier for Ollie. Now you've lost Herrera's bat in the middle of your order, which stinks too. But Alec Burleson, except for maybe the first month of the season, he has been really good, and really good against left-handed pitching too. For a while, that was the crutch for him. Is got to platoon him lefty on lefty. It's just not working.
Get him out of there. Now
it doesn't matter. So I think Alec Burleson has made a case to continue to play no matter what. Over just this month alone, he's batting .364, a slug of .610, a WRC plus of 174. This he's raking. I just don't know how, if you're Ollie, you can look this guy in the eye and take him out of the lineup because of a certain situation. Mm-hmm. If it's a day off that he needs, because he's played a lot of games in the hot weather and all that stuff, that's fine. That's different than, we're going to platoon, Walker's going to play today instead of you. Where Walker's still trying to figure a lot of things out. It looks like Burleson has figured out what he needs to figure out to be relevant every single game. Mm-hmm. I just don't see, if you're truly trying to win games too, and this is the balancing act of developing and winning at the same time, I just don't see how, when you're this close to being a playoff team, or even a division champ for that matter, how you can take your best hitter out of the lineup.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's doing a fantastic job. Jamie hit on it. He's hitting .364 this month, .996 OPS, and he's played in 20 games this month. He's only not had a hit in 3 of them. Wow. He is hitting the ball a lot. He's hitting it hard. He's hitting for power. He's hitting the ball opposite field. He's doing all of the things. He tried to bunt. Was it yesterday? Tried to bunt down the third base line because they had shifted. So, he's just playing. That's a person that is seeing the game, playing the game, having fun. I'm just, you fast lanes here, you're going to try to cheat over and let me lay this down. Mm-hmm. Get you squared back up for the next time I come back up. So, for me, he's playing at a really high level. He has earned the right to play every single day. And when, Herrera is back, or when who else am I? If Jordan Walker is healthy and playing, I don't think you have to. I don't think you worry about Alec Burleson in the lineup. He's going to be in there every single day, and those other guys are going to have to figure it out. Not Herrera, but Gorman and Walker.
What's crazy is that Alec Burleson was one of your most consistent hitters a year ago, too. So it's even crazy we're having this discussion, but because of, do you want Jordan Walker to, see his development through, and you're trying to get other guys opportunities, Alec Burleson kind of caught a cold stretch there for a little while and almost kind of went away. But now that he's hitting as well as he has, we're now back to, it makes all the sense in the world to get him in the lineup. I don't know what you do about Jordan Walker. It is one of those situations where I think something will will play itself out. I mean, we've already seen injuries and guys get opportunities that either because of injury or poor performance that have led to, the hot streak for Alec Burleson. But as of right now, you owe it to Burleson and your team to continue to play him regardless of the matchup.
Well, can you imagine
what we all wanted?
Imagine looking in the clubhouse if you're Ollie, John Jay, the coaching staff overall, and your team is fired up right now. You're 3.5 games back of being in first place in the Central Division. You're a half game up in the wild card race. Where you thought at the beginning of the season, the Cardinals were like, we're going to show the world. Mm-hmm. We're going to show the world that we're better than what you think we are. And you're there right now. And your manager walks in and shows a roster without your best hitter.
Right.
Because of numbers and, got to get these guys
matchups,
the plate appearances. We got to develop the young guy. Your Contreras, your Arenado. Arenado's like, you wanted to get rid of me because you thought this team you're just going with a youth movement. We weren't going to win. And here I am now with maybe the most consistent team I've been on since becoming a Cardinal. And let's go back and remember, they made the playoffs a few times, but it took a historical run of 17 games in a row the one year. And the other one, they limped in barely. It hasn't been beautiful. This has felt more real this year to where they're at right now. And then Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray came here because of the rich tradition of the Cardinals and all this stuff. You got to look those guys in the eye and say, yeah, we don't care. We have to get Walker and Gorman and these guys. We got to get them more at-bats.
Mm-hmm. I think this boils down to, and it's going to be, I know you all are going to hate when I say this, but Herrera's going to have to play catcher. If you want...
Once he's healthy?
When he's healthy.
I agree.
I think he's going to... Because you're still trying to figure out, is it Nolan Gorman that's going to be getting those at bats? Is it Jordan Walker? I think Alec Burleson has played himself into an everyday role, whether that's an everyday right fielder or the everyday DH.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's second on the team in hits with 50 less at bats than Nolan Arenado, who is tied with second, who is second with him. They're 15 hits behind Brendan Donovan. He's number one on in average on the team. So he's tied with Brendan Donovan there. He's earned the right to play every single day. To get to maximize your team and the best offense, the best team you could put out there, if Gorman or Jordan Walker decides that they want to start heating up and hitting better, one of those two are going to be everyday players. So to be Gorman as your DH or Jordan Walker as your right fielder and then Burley as your DH. But Herrera has to catch. And I don't know what to make of that, but I also think Pozo and Paez are making it easier to have Herrera behind the plate because they damn let balls go by him every single day.
Right.
I hate that.
You don't like that?
I got PTSD.
Guys, what do you think of this? Timmy the Creek on our Air Comfort Service text line says, look at it this way. If you switch the performances between Walker and Burleson, we would be saying we never need to see Burleson again.
Very true.
Why not the other way? A couple reasons. A very good statement, very true statement, but you still have a very young, talented player, 22 years old, I believe, maybe 23 now, Walker. There's a lot of room. Burley's, how old's Burley, 27?
It's either 26 or 27.
Somewhere in there. So there's 3 to 4 years of gap between these players, which if you do the math, you go, what's Walker going to be in 3 years? Well, he could be an all-star or he could be a dud. Mm-hmm. But we don't know that.
Right.
When you look at him and you look at what he was supposed to be and all his physical attributes and the athleticism, one would still say that you're leaning towards becoming a very relevant outfielder at some point for the Cardinals. Problem is, you got a guy right now that is a relevant outfielder for you, in Alec Burleson.
Yeah, it's a good text. It's good perspective. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. How does the current makeup of the Blues affect their plans for free agency? We'll dive into that next. does the current makeup of the Blues affect their plans for free agency? It's the Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Well, let's hear from Army first. He was with BK and Ferrario yesterday, and this is how Army discussed the current shape of the team and how that influences their approach in free agency.
When we discussed this last year, we were hoping to be competitive. Then when we got to training camp, I thought we were going to be competitive. Now, I had more faith, I think, in more understanding of who Broberg and Holloway were and how they were going to impact our team. Now, do I think Holloway would do what he did to that level? No, but I thought he was going to make us better. So I would view I entered this season the way I entered last season with belief that we should be competing for a playoff spot and higher than we competed last year. Like we had to go on a massive run to get to 96 points. But everyone's going to go through ebbs and flows in the season. If we could improve on 96, that'll get us back in the playoffs. And then I do believe that once you make the tournament, the cream usually rises to the top at the end, but you can make life hell for a few teams that are expecting to go a long way.
All right, so Jamie, you heard what Army just said about the approach to free agency and how the current roster shapes up for free agency. But for you, when you look at this Blues roster, you look at it up and down.
Yeah.
Do you think the Blues can get away with the Cardinals, and I'll just put this in quotation marks, the Cardinals approach this offseason, which is just we're not going to spend a bunch of money. We may not do much of anything outside of maybe re-sign a couple of guys, obviously give a new contract to Joel Hofer, who's restricted, and we're not going to make wholesale changes. Do you think that the Blues can get away with that and be just fine?
Yeah, one, I don't think they're going to get away with that. As far as
a better word.
Yeah, because the Cardinals, chose to go down that path to start their youth movement, whatever they called it, at their transition to the next wave of Cardinals. Great. I would highly advise the Blues not to do anything in free agency. I'm looking at the list right now, and Sam Bennett, from what I'm understanding, it's as good as done that he's going to be back in Florida. Mitch Marner, which I still never thought the Blues should be in that anyways, it looks like he's going to be looking at $13 or $14 million a year. That makes no sense for your team. Brock Besser at $8.5 million makes no sense for your team either. John Tavares at $7.9.
He's like 38, ain't he?
Yeah,
that's a little steep.
But no, thank you.
38.
So when you keep going down the list, you realize there's nobody out there that can really truly help your team. So why bother?
Yeah.
Why bother? Let's see what Dalibor Dvorsky comes to camp looking like. I don't expect him to make the team out of camp. I don't think he's going to be your second line center. But you know what? Every year players develop, they grow, they mature, they get faster, they get stronger. And then let's see what you can do maybe on the trade market. I've said it before, Army's going to have some options. When you look at the Blues as far as their team is concerned, they have a lot of no-trade clauses. Well, come July 1st, a lot of those no-trade clauses turn into modified no-trade clauses, which means there's like 14 or 15 teams that a player can list as not wanting to go to. That leaves quite a few teams around the league that are still available. And then it's up to the Blues to go find a dance partner with one of those teams and see if they can get something done. That is the only way I'd look to improve this team. Mm-hmm. I just don't see any reason to mess with things. Like if you run it back with the exact same forward group, is it ideal? Not necessarily, but is it doable? Yeah, it is, because you're anticipating a 1% to 2% growth on Snuggerud, a 1% to 2% growth on Zach Bolduc, a 1% to 2% growth on Neighbors, Holloway. Just keep going down. Your team will be better, but I don't anticipate Army just standing pat. I think he's going to be very active. Now, does he get something done ultimately? I don't know. Because there's a lot of work that goes into these off seasons that never come to fruition, yet there's weeks of work that go into trying to acquire a player or move a player or sign a player. Mm-hmm. And it just, at the end of the day, sometimes it just doesn't happen. Yeah. And so the thought of the Blues did nothing. Yeah, that's just foolish. They're working the phones. They're talking to people. They're talking to agents.
Things just didn't break their way.
They didn't break their way. And, Army, the credit to him is he's confident enough in what he does and strong-willed enough to not just make a deal to say, oh, we made a deal. We did something.
Sure.
Army's not afraid to just run it back and go, the best deal wasn't available.
Yeah.
The best deal was what we got right now.
So if they're unable to, in the free agent market, find that centerman, does that make the signing of Radek Faksa more important? Like, do you have to make that a priority?
I don't think
to bring him back, because where do you go if he's not here?
Yeah. Well, so Oscar Sundqvist would drop down into that fourth line role.
Gotcha.
And then you would have a hole at the third line center position. But, I look at it different ways, too, is where you can find another player. Like Nathan Walker has played a lot of center in his career. Like, maybe not the NHL level, but the American Hockey League and whatnot. If you move Nathan Walker to center with Torpchenko, and then you had another Radek Faksa-esque winger, those guys you can find unrestricted free agent. You can find a fast guy that's willing to hit everything that moves and block shots. You can find that a lot easier than you can find a second-line center that's going to provide scoring depth for you between guys like Holloway and Kyrou, per se. So I don't think it's necessary that Radek Faksa comes back, but do I think it makes life a lot easier for the Blues? Yeah, run it back with Radek Faksa, and then the worst-case scenario is you have the same forward group as you had last year that started to score quite a few goals for you, and they're really effective. And again, like I said, Army's going to do things that make sense for the St. Louis Blues, and you kind of go from there. I don't think you force anything. I don't like any of the current UFAs that are out there, not named Sam Bennett. Really, the rest of them don't appeal to me all that much.
I hope the Cardinals get to where the Blues are now. That's really how the Blues have set things up is ideal. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, where you have a current core group and you've got a young core group that contributed a year ago that eventually will become that young group that you follow for years to come. Then down the road, you still like your prospects. This is where the Cardinals need to get to, because at some point, for both teams, and I do think the Blues will get there at some point. At some point, there will be an opportunity to take the sledgehammer to the fly.
Yep.
Whether it's at the trade deadline, typically I think it's going to come at the trade deadline. Just because the offseason with free agency and things like that, you can get into some trouble.
You can get it at the draft, too. You can find some value at the draft.
But I do think there will be a time where Doug Armstrong will say, now is my best opportunity to roll the dice, take a chance on somebody that may ultimately not be worth the full worth of the full weight of the contract, but is worth it for the next 2 years, and I'm going to make the deal. It's not now, but I do think at some point it will. And then it'll make sense with all that talent surrounding your core to add somebody that's like, holy crap, that's a great trade. A big name, big-time player, and it helps put the Blues over the top.
We got a text message here from the 636. I guess B-Cam Ferrario must have been talking about this. And earlier today, the boys were saying something about Tage Thompson, that they didn't want Tage Thompson. He would be a bad fit for this team. Or would it be too hard for him to get? I don't know if he's wording this saying they wanted him or didn't want him. I'm not sure. One, I can't imagine anybody would not want Tage Thompson. But two, you're not getting him. Like, even if Buffalo wants to move on from Tage Thompson, what do you think they want in return?
A ton.
The guy's a two-time 40-goal scorer. That's the problem about when you just eyeball, like, certain players on certain teams. You go, the Blues should go get this guy. Great. Show me the path.
Yeah.
Because the path to that player who's elite is 2 or 3 of your current roster players. You're not doing that.
Well, what if the Blues gave the Buffaloes the players that they don't want?
Yeah.
Like the not great players.
Like the last time?
And then they get Tage Thompson. Right.
But the last time Tage Thompson was someone you thought,
this could be.
You could say, hey, remember last time?
Right.
We gave you Tage Thompson, right? Patrick
take this package, too.
and Saboka, too. Don't worry about those guys. We gave you Tage Thompson.
You're welcome, Buffalo.
So
You've had all that success over the last couple of years, too.
Yeah, I just, when people are looking at possible trade partners, and you're looking at players on other teams where other teams may be wanting to move on, you have to take into consideration 2 things. The dollar value of said player coming back to you, how that affects your cap space, and what are they going to want in return that will now create a void on your roster. And sometimes the juice is not worth the squeeze. If you're losing a bigger piece of your team and taking on more salary cap, that seems like a bad business decision.
Agreed. That's Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. Don't forget we have Alec Steen joining us at 4:30. So we'll talk to the Blues assistant general manager about everything related to the offseason. Obviously can't talk about players on other teams and certain targets and free agency, but we can certainly get into kind of the philosophy and things that he learned.
Yeah, and he's going into the draft again, his second year being a part of it.
Yes, sir. We do have our Sports Six-Pack coming up, part 1, 314-399-9646 of the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you got a question for us, send it there. Sixer, part 1, next on 101 ESPN.
Jamie and Anthony back with you here. And Anthony, I tell you all the time, I run into people at the mall, at the store, different places, and they ask me quite a bit about our guy Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. And somebody was asking me about cash out refinancing. I said, I'm not qualified for that. But I do have a guy that is. And we got Stewie on the line right now. Stewie, what can you tell me about cash out and refinancing?
You know what? Money is king. My wife also runs around the street all the time and goes, Stewie, show me the money. Give me money. I want to go shopping. I need my stuff. I need my... And I said, listen, if you're going to go shopping and do all those kinds of things, I want a jacuzzi. So let's figure out what we do. So we had a customer came in, redid his entire kitchen. They got the jacuzzi, and guess what? It didn't cost them a dime more on their payment. So check it out. See what you can do on a cash-out refinance. Maybe you can keep the same payment and get the stuff you need and make your wife really, really happy.
But you do have to pick up the phone. You do have to call Stewie. Or you can text him because he hands out his personal cell phone number because he wants to give you that old-school customer service feel. 314-324-4440 is that number.
Again, that's 314-324-4440.
Call, day, night, doesn't matter. He'll return your call or he'll pick up and answer your questions, whatever it may be. Stewie's our guy, needs to be your guy as well. And if you didn't catch that phone number, you can always Google the Bagel Loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a great day, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals take down the Cubs last night by a final score of 8-2. They'll be back at it again with Michael McGreevy on the mound, going up against Jamison Tyone. First pitch tonight is at 6:45. We just got done talking about your St. Louis Blues. We'll have Alexander Steen join the show at 4:30, so stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we have our Sports Six-Pack. So get your questions in to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by the Finnish Long Drink, Finland's best-kept secret. A sparkling citrus beverage made with real liquor. Visit thelongdrink.com. Must be 21 years of age or older. Drink responsibly.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We have part one of our Sports Six-Pack right now in the Fast Lane with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers and Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh.
Question number one.
All righty, gentlemen, from the 636. We all know Jamie likes bourbon, but does he ever sip on rye whiskey, Scotch, Irish, or Canadian whiskeys?
Canadian whiskey from time to time. What were the other ones? Rye whiskey. Yes. That I'm not a big Scotch guy. I've had a few that are okay, but overall, just for me, the aftertaste on the Scotch is just not my thing. It's not my thing. But I'll give it a shot, and if I don't like it, then I don't like it. Yeah. You know, I mean, I'm open. That's how I got to like bourbon in different kinds. Is you take a sip, you see if you like it. If you like it, you have more. If you don't like it, you don't have any more.
Move on.
Move on to the next one.
They've got plenty.
And when you have a certain type of alcohol, whether it's vodka, tequila, bourbon, whiskey, Scotch, that you don't like more often than not, you probably don't like that category. And so far for me, the Scotch whiskey or just straight up Scotch, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But all the others are.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Everything else is on the table.
Everything else is good.
Carey, you seem like you might be a Scotch guy.
No.
Okay.
Bourbon.
Including a new tequila, by the way. Got to check it out. It's called El Bandito.
Chris
Chelios. Collaborating with me.
Jamie Rivers
on El Bandito.
Nice.
I mean, I'm just doing the recording, so I don't have anything to do with the company. You know, just
not yet.
That's a former teammate, but
it's good
did
stuff.
try it. It's good stuff.
Guys, before we get to question number two, a little update here from the Cardinals.
Oh, boy.
Garrett Hampton, the infielder / outfielder, has been claimed off of waivers from Cincinnati. He will wear number 13 as Jose Barrero has been designated for assignment.
I didn't think they were allowed to get rid of Barrero. I thought he had a lifetime membership. What? I forgot he was on the roster.
Wow. Man, that was tough to hear.
Why? What? I didn't say anything wrong.
Garrett Hampton, huh? So they're looking for more experience, I would imagine.
Yeah, maybe, well, never mind.
Oh, what were you going to say, Marsh? Can you clean it up for the kids?
Yeah. I was just going to say maybe they wanted to stay at the Hamptons, because son of the owner. But from the thing that we did today, I don't know if we can say.
You don't want to make that joke. Not
a joke, or it is a joke, Anthony. Just a joke.
I'm so confused after that meeting today. Hey. I feel like everything I say is going to be getting fired.
You be careful, because anything you say can and will be used against you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, sounds like
literally in the court of law.
Mm-hmm. Heard that before. You have to.
Wow. Question number two.
All right, from Danny Beefcake. Do you think the Blues draft a player with their first-round pick, use it in a trade for a player, or use it in a trade to acquire more draft capital?
That's a tough one. They got pick number 19, which, when we get Alex Steen on here later, I am going to ask him about that pick. How can you truly evaluate a first-round pick at that number? And, what are your realistic expectations? And if there's a player that's available at that time where you think, okay, I can see a path to the NHL for this player, then you draft that player. If not, and somebody else is hot on that draft pick or that number, you float it around and see if somebody wants to give you something valuable for it, or if there is a trade to be made to where maybe you have a young player that you've already drafted that is part of that World Junior group, that the up-and-comers, you have a first-round pick, and then maybe a depth player, and you move that on to a team that is, unloading some salary cap, i.e. a Vegas or one of those teams that wants to move on from somebody, then maybe you can use it that way. It'll all depend on what the Blues value as far as players that are left on the board at that moment.
A little correction here. I said Garrett Hampton, although that might be a real person. It's actually Garrett Hampson.
Oh, you better be careful.
S-O-N, and I want to thank the 217 for keeping me accountable. Hampson.
You got to be very careful. Hampson?
Hampson. Sounds like Samson.
Samson.
Who had great hair, right?
Teddy Hampson, by the way, was part of the Blues scouting staff that drafted me. No relation, I'm sure.
You don't know that.
I don't know that, but I have to be very careful now, Carey.
Very careful.
Yeah.
Garrett Hampson is a former Rocky player that has bounced around a little bit of late. His best years were with said Rockies. But
what positions does he play, Anthony?
all of them.
There he's infielder / outfielder.
Yeah, he plays all of them,
He's
which fits what the Cardinals want.
Yeah, versatility.
Yep.
Some would call it.
Question number 3.
This one comes from Grant Francis Fan Club. If the Winter Classic look was off the table, describe what your Blues rebrand would have looked like.
I can't say I got told yesterday to zip it.
Oh, really? By who?
Mr.
Oh, he likes the red.
Oh, yeah, I don't like the red.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't the only one who told you.
Nah.
I would hurt coming from you.
Really? Okay.
You know,
I'm sorry. Gotta hurt your feelings.
Thank you.
I am. I really am.
That was very nice.
I'm not sorry anymore, but I'll go in hindsight.
Retroactive?
Retroactive.
Okay.
What?
That's not a sorry
I
either.
don't think so.
That's not an apology either.
What the hell
That might be
was?
even worse than
Probably
I'm sorry
is.
you feel that way.
Why do you
Retroactively, I'm
Just
sorry.
sit on your chair and enjoy things, okay?
I can't enjoy it when my guy Carey's not getting a full apology.
Now it's your guy. Yeah, that's your guy.
Carey's always been my guy.
You know what he said about Sam Darnold yesterday?
And I meant that. I'm sorry.
He's still your guy?
That you
Yeah.
feel that way. That is my guy.
You'll see.
He knows.
You'll all see.
He knows. Our football takes are vastly different.
Yeah, it's nothing new. As soon as he disagreed, I'm like, that makes sense. In fact, the fact that we agreed on Brian Dable is a
I was
total
surprised.
shocker.
I was
for me.
shocked.
That was a win.
Yeah. Proud of you.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Marsh, you're the one I feel, one, has been just dying to answer this question, but two, I also feel like you're the most qualified. So what would you do with the Blues uniform if the Winter Classic look was not on the table?
I would still go back to the team's history. I think I would go with the 80s like the 80, not the logo, but the 80s jersey, like some version of that. Ditch the red.
Yes.
And probably just keep it blue where that stripe is. I think I would probably get rid of the blues over the note and go and still
So change
use
the whole jersey.
No, it's the striping. I like it's the striping on the shirt or on the sweater. But I'd probably ditch the blues above the blue note and go with the blue note that they just came up with. So, I mean, there's not that many different variations of Blues jerseys throughout history compared to other teams.
Right.
But I will say I've liked almost every single one of them.
Well, good.
Except for that one with the arch, which a lot of people apparently like.
I like the dark blue. I do.
I thought you just said that you.
Yeah,
or no,
just-
you don't like two variations.
Thank you.
Of blue.
Thank you for listening, Marsh. Unlike Jamie, who was about to launch here. It's the different combinations of blues. Yeah, but you're like, wow, you're about to jump.
No, I wasn't.
It's the
know
dark
what the hell
blue
was about
with the baby blue, and then some sort of royal blue, and then St. Louis blue,
You don't
and
like
then
all the
heritage blue,
blues.
all just blue all together. No, come on, man. Different variations of blue.
What?
I do like navy blue. Now, I don't know if that's good for year-round with the St. Louis Blues. Probably not. But I do like a dark navy blue. It looks
They got now.
crisp.
This looks good.
Yeah.
Looks fresh.
This I like.
Clean.
This I like. I like it a lot.
Succinct, to the point.
I like these jerseys way more, these uniforms way more than what they had a year ago. Which wasn't bad, but anytime you can eliminate multiple variations of blue in the same damn jersey, you're doing things right. Part 2 of the Sixer next on 101 ESPN. Well, if you're anything like me, when you're buying a car, you want more than just the good looks of the vehicle and the price. You want peace of mind. And at Auto Centers Nissan, they deliver. They've got over 1,000 new and used vehicles all on one lot, right off I-55 in Herculaneum. No guessing games, no runarounds. And during the Nissan summer sales event, you can enjoy 0% APR for 60 months on the 2025 Rogue and Pathfinder. And you're talking about two smart American-made SUVs with no added tariffs. And there's also something nobody else offers that Auto Centers Nissan does. Every new Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty and a 30-day return promise. If it's not right, bring it back. It's that simple. No questions asked on that. And even if your credit's not perfect, their team at Auto Centers Nissan, they're there to help. They work with any credit situation. So go see what they're about or start online at autocentersnissan.com. You can visit them. You can stop by in Herculaneum. Tell them Stalter sent you. But drive with confidence. Shop with clarity. It's Auto Centers Nissan. Again, when you head out to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. Auto Centers Nissan. It's all here.
It's time for the lineup. We will pause the second half of that Sports Six-Pack till 4:15 after the Gauntlet because we want to get to some of your questions. But, gentlemen, it's go time for the Cardinals and the Cubs here again tonight. Who we got on the bump for the Cubbies there? Marshy?
We have Jameson Taillon.
Oh, that's right. He's an RHP, isn't he? Yeah, you know me.
He is an RHP.
Okay, RHP. Okay, Carey. Let me ask you a question first, Carey.
Sure.
Are you okay there? I know you're eating. I don't want to ask you a question. I
No,
can
I'm
show
good,
live
yeah.
on the air.
No, I'm good. Thank you for your concern.
However, if mouth-to-mouth is necessary,
I'm okay.
I'm not above that. I would save your life.
I know you would.
I would save your life, Carey.
I appreciate it.
I really would.
You're a good man.
I'd have Marshy do it first, but I'd save your life. Okay. All right. So, do we think the Cardinals change anything?
No, why would you do that?
I don't know. So
you shouldn't.
When I look at this, I'm like, okay. I mean, I feel like we just run it back.
I think you should just say, show us the exact same lineup from
Well,
yesterday.
you start us off.
No, I think you should just
don't
say
do that because we have time.
Okay. But it would be cool.
It would be cool.
All right. Show us. Brendan Donovan.
Look at that guy. Vibrant, handsome, hair.
Anthony?
Mason Wynn?
I don't see why not.
Show us Mason Wynn.
Duncan! Bring me that arm!
This was our guy Burley, right?
Yep.
Show me that big burly dude. Show us.
It's okay. That's all right.
Look at me.
You're already acting like you're a star, and we haven't even opened yet!
I got carried away.
You're fine.
No, I apologize. You can take over now.
It's on me?
Yes.
Show us Wilson Contreras.
You don't know how to play first base. It's not that hard. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
Hey, anything worth doing is.
Yesterday, this was the Newt.
I don't see why you change it. Show us Lars Nootbaar.
International superstar!
Watch out, don't run into any walls or anything.
Guys, if I may.
Sure.
Show us
Nolan Arenado.
A lot of people think you get in your mid-30s and your career's over, but like I always say, until they stop scouting, I ain't going to stop playing.
All right. Same exact lineup, correct?
Yes.
Show us Nolan Gorman.
Swing Serenade is brought to you by Gorman.
Dingers! Hang me a curve and I will hit. Dingers!
All right, so you think Paez? You don't think they throw us a curveball with Poso here, do you?
I don't think so.
All right. Show us Petey Pages.
Smithers, throw this at him. You're out!
Maybe.
All right, Garrett Hampson.
That was good.
Not a chance.
You got me. The hamster.
Show us Victor Michael Ciani Scott. Or Victor Scott.
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
I mean, I'm proud
Nice
of
work,
us,
guys.
but was it really that?
Nice. No. You take the win. You take the Mason win when you can get it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Same lineup.
Okay.
Worked well yesterday.
Run it, Marsh.
All right, leading off, second baseman Brendan Donovan, batting second. The shortstop, Mason Wynn. Batting third in right field is Alec Burleson. Your cleanup hitter at first base, Wilson Contreras. Batting fifth in left field, Lars Nootbaar. Batting sixth, third baseman, Nolan Arenado. Batting seventh, the DH, Nolan Gorman. Batting eighth and catching is Pedro Paez. And batting ninth in center field, Victor Scott the second.
Back. Stay fair! Stay fair!
Go fair!
I don't believe what I just saw! Home run!
All right, Marshy, Carey and Jamie are the only ones that are participating in the home run derby this year. But go ahead and read off our latest standings.
All right, well, both of these gentlemen picked up 3 points. So Jamie now has 16 points. Carey has 13 points. Anthony, you have 5, and I have 3.
Insurmountable. You guys are dominating us.
He's doing it again.
Yeah, he's trying. He's
dominating us. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to change things up here a little bit today. Give me Alec Burleson.
Jamie, you had him yesterday.
I don't remember.
That makes it different. I don't remember.
It's always a surprise that way.
That's good. Gary?
Give me Wilson Contreras.
Oh, wow. Had him yesterday. He was awesome.
He was.
In the game. But not in our home run derby game. Marshy, give me Lars Taylor Tatsui Nude Bar. Please. And thank you.
And I'm going to go with no.
Nice.
Good call. Good call.
All right.
You know who I think's going to hit home runs tonight?
None of these guys?
Contreras and Burleson.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
Because when it comes to Carey and Jamie, they're so locked in right now.
You can't
There's
trust
no
him
way
at all.
No, there's no way in hell.
Not at all.
That Contreras and Burleson don't touch seats.
My goodness.
Perhaps even multiple times. Which would be
lock.
extra points.
My goodness.
For these two.
It's a lock.
You're just terrible. Both
that
of you are
is
just
terrible.
terrible.
How does it feel to be so red hot that you probably will continue to just pick the guy that's going to hit the home run every night, guys? Like, how does that feel? Because Marsh and I we're struggling.
That feels good, Anthony. I'm not going to lie.
Good.
Right, Carey?
Yeah, it feels great.
Yep.
We just got a knack for this thing.
Do you guys feel as though that you'll never miss again?
I know we'll miss, but probably less than we hit. That's for sure. I mean, you wouldn't know that, but that's okay.
That's what I was looking for right there. That's what I was looking for. Marsh, you still want to play the game, right? Even though it's over?
It's still fun. Like, sometimes you want to play along with, like, you're not a part of it, though, but you still want to play along.
Right.
You know, that's kind of how I feel right now. You know, we got two professionals in here who are really good at what they do. And we're kind of like the...
Two pros and two average Joes.
Absolutely. Except for, there's only one average Joe.
Right.
One of them doesn't even get a... One of them's not even a part of the, the whatever, the promo.
Honestly, I don't know.
Because they don't pick home runs.
Exactly. Not like you guys, that's for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You two guys.
I'm not going to let you play the game.
We'll call.
Did you lead the, were you second in the goal scoring game and light the lamp?
No, I don't think I was.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I did win that.
Yeah, you did.
Anthony was
Last
second.
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I think Anthony was second.
He probably was.
I think I was second.
Maybe Marshy was second.
Marshy was second.
Just asking.
Yeah.
We just keep trying to figure things out.
Hey, you guys are rolling.
Yeah.
Absolutely rolling.
We are, actually.
Jamie just won Bet the Board, too.
He did. For this month?
Last month and this month.
I haven't won this month yet, Anthony. We have a lot of time left.
You will, though.
You got 10 wins already.
Yeah, that's what you were telling us before.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there'll be a day where
No, it wasn't you guys. I was telling other people.
we get to play,
Yeah.
Like, sometimes they're like, hey, bring a friend and we'll let you
play.
We'll let you get on the field and take some
I've said
batting
that before.
practice.
Yeah. Would you like to do that, champ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
8:15. It was 8:30. Bring a friend.
Alex Steen, 4:30. Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN.
4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
401 your time check, brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we got revenge potentially on the line today. So yesterday, we had Anthony on, and he had beaten Carey on Friday, but Jamie got him yesterday.
In random.
His brother, Alex, is on the line right now. What's up, Alex?
What's going on, guys?
Now, do I understand this, Alex? You are, in fact, here to avenge your brother's falling.
I am here to restore our family name's honor and hopefully beat Jamie.
Wow. Okay, so we're just going right for it. It is a revenge spot. You are going with Jamie Rivers. Is that confirmed?
Oh, yeah, I have to.
All right.
All right, man.
love it.
Well, hey, Alex, good luck.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
All right, Jamie's going to head into the cone of silence. Mike Ryder's going to play him a couple of jams, probably. Mm-hmm. And Alex, you're going to tell Andrew Marsh to spin that wheel.
Marshy, spin that wheel.
Alex, are you the big brother or the little brother?
I am the younger brother,
Okay.
and I have to admit he's smarter than me at just about everything. But hopefully, I can get a little edge in the sports here.
That's not true, Alex.
So this would have been perfect. It almost landed on random
It
again.
almost did.
But it's football today.
Oh, okay. A little foosball. You good with that, Alex?
I'm good with it.
Okay, you're going to get 4 football-related questions. Each one is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Jamie, of course, will receive the same 4 football questions. Thank you, Marsh. Alex, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Which NFL team plays their home games at State Farm Stadium?
Arizona Cardinals.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Which NFL franchise has the jersey number 96 retired for Cortez Kennedy?
Oh, that one I don't know. I will take the options.
Is it the Buffalo Bills, the Seattle Seahawks, or the Tennessee Titans?
Just total guess, I'm going to go with Titans.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 3. Former St. Louis Ram Robert Quinn ended his career playing 6 games with which team?
Ugh. Let me get the options on this one, too.
Options are the Philadelphia Eagles, the Chicago Bears, or the Dallas Cowboys.
Chicago Bears, final answer.
All right, Alex, final question. Baker Mayfield and which other quarterback led the NFL with 16 interceptions thrown last season?
He played almost every game and threw a lot of. I'm going to take the options on this one, too.
Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold.
Man, it's either Kirk or Geno. Give me Geno Smith.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, let's bring back Jamie from the Cone of Silence. Alex, how you feeling?
I feel okay.
Okay. We'll see if OK does it today against Jamie Rivers, who is taking a sweet-ass time talking to Mike Ryder. He's back. Wow. He's got a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe a skip to his step.
No, not at all. Wow, that was fast. That means like really good or really bad. I'm not sure.
What do you feel in your bones?
I feel like Alex probably crushed it. Because even if it's bad, you take your time. There's options you go through if you don't know. When you answer quickly like that, it's usually because you are in the zone, man. You're locked in. All right.
Category today is football.
Oh, I love football, Carey.
Pack a lunch.
What?
What
the hell?
Yeah.
Question 1.
Yeah.
Which NFL team plays their home games at State Farm Stadium?
State Farm Stadium. I feel like I should know this, but I'm having a hard time right now. How about the options, please?
Is it the Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons, or the Houston Texans?
Houston Texans. Final answer.
Question number 2. Which NFL franchise has the jersey number 96 retired for Cortez Kennedy?
Options.
Is it the Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans, or the Seattle Seahawks?
Tennessee Titans. Final answer.
Question number 3. Former St. Louis Ram Robert Quinn ended his career playing 6 games with which team?
Options.
Options are the Philadelphia Eagles, the Chicago Bears, or the Dallas Cowboys.
Great. I'll listen. So the Eagles, the Bears, or the Cowboys? I don't think it was the Bears. And that's about all I think. Oh, let's go with Carey's Eagles. Final answer.
Final question. Baker Mayfield and which other quarterback led the NFL with 16 interceptions thrown last season?
Options.
Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith.
Okay, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith. If I do the outlier on this one, and it really kind of works for me this time, the outlier would be Sam Darnold, because you'd think to yourself, 14-3, I believe, was the record. How could he be throwing that many interceptions? And the fact that Anthony read the question and Sam Darnold is an option, I feel like that's where I should go. I could be insane. Sam Darnold, final answer.
Okay.
The Stalter outlier from Stalter himself.
Wow. Okay, let's go over these. Alex, who is in a revenge spot against Jamie. Jamie beat Anthony, Alex's brother, yesterday in the second round of the Gauntlet. Could Alex take back his family name, get that revenge against Jamie, and also at least tie his brother, bless you, Marshall, getting to the second round. Let's go over these. Which NFL franchise has jersey number 96 retired for Cortez Kennedy? You both took the options. You both said the Tennessee Titans. Correct answer is
the Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks. 0.0.
Hello.
Which NFL team plays their home games at State Farm Stadium? Jamie, you said the Texans. Alex, you said the Cardinals. Correct answer is?
It is the Arizona Cardinals.
Alex didn't need the options on that one.
I'm in
Alex
trouble
up
now.
2-0.
I'm in trouble now.
Former St. Louis Ram Robert Quinn ended his career playing 6 games with which team? Jamie, you went with Carey's Philadelphia Eagles, at least his NFC team.
Yeah.
Alex, you went with the Chicago Bears. Correct answer is
the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Philadelphia Eagles. Alex 2, Jamie 1.
Oh, it's coming down to
Comes down to this. Baker Mayfield and which other quarterback led the NFL with 16 interceptions thrown last season? Alex listened to the options. He landed on Geno Smith. Jamie listened to the options, decided that since I read the question, to go with the Stalter method and take Sam Darnold, who I, of course, said yesterday has the most to prove. So Jamie connected those dots.
I connected dots.
If Jamie's right, we've got a walk-off. If it's Geno Smith or Kirk Cousins, Alex gets his revenge for brother Anthony. Alex.
You have chosen wisely.
I Ironically, correct answer is
Former Viking Kirk Cousins.
I didn't think Kirky played enough.
That's why he wasn't playing.
That's how bad he was. Yeah, he sucked. All right, Alex, congratulations. You do get the revenge for Anthony. You knock off Jamie. He'll be back tomorrow for round 2. Nice job.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Nice job, Alex.
I'll call you tomorrow. See you, Alex.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
That's a
tough one.
very difficult one.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I was trying to see the Cardinals stadium in my head because I was like, what was it called before State Farm?
University of Phoenix Stadium.
Yeah, that's
Houston is NRG, and the Falcons is the Mercedes-Benz
Well, I knew it wasn't the
Stadium.
Falcons, but-
Yeah.
All right, oh well.
Okay, so Jamie, for the first time that I can remember, is heading to the penalty box. I don't think you've ever you've ever gone there.
No,
that's not true.
I've been there.
Okay, whoa, easy, guys. I know one time he lost on the road.
Yeah, I was there not too long ago.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I feel like it was a couple weeks ago.
3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
It was when we all
go fast like
lost
myself.
in our listener.
Oh, that's right.
Jim
That's
won the
right.
Gauntlet.
Yeah, good call. Boy, I put Jim right out of my memory, didn't I?
Oh, justifiably so.
Yeah.
We've all tried to.
We certainly have. All right, so Jamie's going to the penalty box. We've got what's trending for you. Or would you like to do the second six-pack?
Second six-pack. I promised a second six-pack to our listeners.
So we took a nap. Now we're coming back. Now we're having the final 3 in the six-pack.
We deliver on our promises.
Yes, we do. So if you got any questions, 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service tax line. Part 2 of the Sixer next.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by the Finnish Long Drink, Finland's best-kept secret. A sparkling citrus beverage made with real liquor. Visit thelongdrink.com. Must be 21 years of age or older. Drink responsibly.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Our second part of the Sports Six-Pack is now 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service tax line. Jamie, you all good back there?
Yeah, doing great, guys. Thanks for asking.
Good.
Yeah.
Can you hear yourself remarkably horribly?
Yes.
Good.
All of the above.
Excellent. Marshy, fire away.
Question number 4.
From the 636, why are the Blues so desperate for a second-line center when Braden Shen plays so well with Dylan Holloway and Jordan Kyrou?
Well, they're desperate for a center iceman, second or third line, quite honestly. But I think ultimately what they're looking at is, what does Braden Shen profile to be maybe this year moving forward or next year as he continues to be in the league. I mean, he gets a year older every year, and you've got Holloway and Kyrou who are young thoroughbreds out there, and Braden Shen had a great season with them last year, but it doesn't hurt to add another scoring guy to your lineup, whether you put him between Kyrou and Holloway or you put that centerman between Snuggerud and Bolduc, or however you're going to configure your lines. I think the Blues are looking for more scoring depth at the center ice position. So they're not desperate. It's just an area of need that they have, and they need to fill that void at some point.
Question number 5.
From the Waterboy, since Jamie is heading to the penalty box, does he have any interesting stories about being in an NHL penalty box? Did he ever talk to the official who was in the box as well?
Oh, yeah. You get to know those guys pretty good. They're very nice. They're very helpful. Sometimes they give you ice for your hand or your face, depending on how things went. Get you a Gatorade, pat you on the back, tell you did a great job, tell you didn't lose by that much. No, great. I have a funny penalty box story, though. It was my very first game playing in the American Hockey League. And I don't know, Anthony, if I've told you this story before, but we were playing the Hershey Bears. Imagine that.
Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
What'd you do to that bear, Jamie?
Well, that's a different story. That's a whole other story. Same team, same year, different story. But we ended up there the very first period of the game, and we ended up like a 5-on-5 brawl on the ice. Mm-hmm. And Sean McCosh was the guy. He's the guy that I got his tooth stuck in my hand. It was another fight later on in the season. This was the very first one that we had. And he was a captain of the team, and I was like, what the hell is this guy's problem? So kind of gave it to him pretty good. And I felt pretty good about it. I was feeling myself pretty good, right? And so as he's skating by the penalty box, I chirped him. The door was open. I chirped him. I was just sitting there, sitting in the box. The door was open. I chirped him. Well, he goes full on right turn, Clyde, straight into the penalty box to fight me. Now, the attendant is in there. It's an older gentleman, usually a volunteer that's just trying to help out in there. So he's trying to get
somebody's dad.
He's trying to get the hell out of the way. Well, remember, we had a 5-on-5, so now all the guys come screaming into the penalty box to fight. We had 10 players in the penalty box on one side fighting, and one off-ice official fighting for his life.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was so jam tight. I remember trying to throw punches, and you couldn't.
Yeah.
It was like noogies in there because nobody could move. And then we were kind of stuck. And then I remember me and this other player, Terry Virtue, was on my team. And we're trying to make a little bit of a gap so that the old guy in the box isn't getting suffocated at the time. And then the cops came down and they started lifting the glass behind the penalty box to try and get him out of there.
Wow.
And we eventually got it all sorted out. But
how was he? Was he ticked off?
The old man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, funny thing is he was mad at the other player for coming in the damn penalty box.
Yeah.
That guy, he deserves to get it again. But that was quite...
Yes, he does, Frank. Yes, he does.
That's quite the adventure that time.
I hadn't heard that one.
No.
I feel like I've heard the majority of your stories, especially.
You're the other one where my teammate took off his skates in the penalty box?
Like Happy Gilmore?
Yeah. So Bob McIsaac was from Antigonish, Nova Scotia, where all they do is make tough hockey players.
Okay.
And we're playing junior hockey in Sudbury. We're playing the Oshawa Generals. And the way the penalty box was like a concrete slab that came down, and then it was ended before the board. So there was an opening there. And fans could sit there. Like a lot of the older buildings, like there was no like restrictions per se. And when there's one fan in Oshawa that always yells at you. And Bobby and I were in there early in the game, and he was yelling. He's like, I'm going to get that guy. I'm sick of that guy. Like, don't worry about it, Bob. Whatever. Okay. So we go back out, play, and then we both end up in fights later on that game. And so we're back in the penalty box again. We're sitting there, and this guy's chirping. And Bobby looks at me and says, yep, I'm going to get him right now. And I look over. He has his skates off.
Oh, boy.
And he's running up the stairs to get this guy in full hockey gear.
Wow.
I've got my skates on. I'm like, oh, crap. So now I got to try and go up these concrete steps in my skates. Everybody's trying to jump on you, and the police are involved and everything. And we get back to the penalty box. I, first of all, had to have my skates completely redone. I'm looking at Bobby. I'm like, was it worth it? He's like, yep, sure was. I was like, all right.
Was there a certain, and maybe there still is there a certain like country that just always seems to produce kind of the toughest knuckleheads?
Well,
and I'm saying knucklehead in a term of endearment.
So nowadays it's tough. The league doesn't really have those guys. They're few and far between. But so junior hockey in my era was flooded with kids from Nova Scotia that were tough as nails, like Dennis Bonvie, Bob McIsaac, like all these guys came out of these little towns. But they also, the Western Canadian League, the WHL, had a bunch of guys. Like you just go through the list of like Rudy Poshek, Stu Grimson, Kelly Chase, Wendell Clark, Tony Twist. Like those are like legendary names as far as tough guys are concerned. And then the Ontario League always had like the Bob Proberts and things like that. Like you had some guys there. So I'd say predominantly the Canadian leagues probably produce more, especially back then, because a lot of the U.S. kids were playing college hockey. There's no fighting in college hockey.
Yeah.
So a lot of the junior kids are fighting every night, 3-4 nights a week. So you want to go away and play hockey, eh, little Johnny?
So you want to be a hockey player, do you? You better learn how to fight, son.
You better figure it out or be a really good player.
All right, we'll do a quick sixer here because we got Alex Steen joining us in 6 minutes.
Question number 6.
All right, from Thrill Fan 22. Hey, fellas, I've noticed a lot more missed calls in baseball recently. I'm 100% pro electronic officiating. Do you think it's a good or bad thing?
I always used to be on the side of like, get the call right, get technology in there, and now I don't know. That the older I get, I'm like, I'm fine with the
human error,
the human element, the human error.
CB Buckner missed like 23 calls the other night.
I'm not
saying
that
acceptable?
They should.
I don't think it is.
I'm not saying it's acceptable. They should. I mean, like the most egregious cases. If you're not consistent, you repeat it.
You should be
get them out.
You should be relegated.
Exactly.
Well,
you should not be allowed to keep your job.
Like I hate the fact that a lot of times they do the rotation.
Yeah.
And everybody takes their turn behind home plate.
Right.
If you suck, and the little CompuBox box tells us at the end of the game that you missed 10 or more, or even 5 or more, really it shouldn't be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you don't get to
You're
work
going to be
the
a
next
third base.
series.
You're going to be a third base for the next series, and you're going to shut your mouth.
Yes.
Right, Carey?
Yep.
No.
I agree.
Hockey Hall of Fame announced.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Joe Thornton.
Jumbo Joe.
Joe. Zdeno Chara.
He's a teammate of yours.
Both of those guys were teammates.
I thought you said mine. I'm like, I didn't.
No, Carey,
hockey?
you played football.
Carey, how could you even get that confused?
He was looking right at me. Now,
I was looking at Jamie.
We're not supposed to look in his eyes, but he was looking right at me. Maybe that's why we don't look in his eyes.
I looked right at Jamie.
Sorry.
I looked at Jamie.
You tried.
Through me.
A little disappointed that our guy Keith Kachuk didn't get in there again this year. I'm tired of him not getting in.
Well, maybe it's a segment later on. Or maybe we'll ask Alex Steen about that.
We should.
Alex Steen's going to join us next in the Fast Line on 101 ESPN.
Circus Sports, a lot of unbelievable things going on. Not only do they have an app to use right now, but they obviously have the casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, and they've got a couple of really, really great contests going on. The Circa Million and Circa Survivor, $21 million. That's right, $21 million in guaranteed prizes. There's also no rake, so that means if the entries go above the guaranteed money, all that extra money goes right back in the prize pool. Entries for these contests started on May 23rd, and they will continue until September 6th at 2 p.m. The only thing you have to do, though, is get to a Circus Sports casino and register in person. Once you do that, you can manage all of it from the palm of your hand with the Circus Sports Illinois app. Just a fantastic app. You can find it on their website or at the App Store. They've got great lines on all their futures bets, tight money line splits, and, of course, the best odds out of any app that is out there. I absolutely love using my Circus Sports Illinois app. So please don't miss out on all of that action. Download the app, bet like a pro, get to Circus Sports, get into those contests, and really enjoy everything that Circus Sports has to offer. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues revealed a new look today for a new era, an updated logo, and new sweaters. And speaking of your St. Louis Blues, we are going to be joined by Stanley Cup champion and future GM Alexander Steen. That's next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN, the home of the Blues Radio Network, with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. And let's head right to the Collier and Thompson phone line. We're joined by one of our favorite former Blue and somebody that has certainly done a tremendous job over the last couple of years in a new role in the Blues front office. It's Alex Steen. Steener, how are you?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm doing good.
Good, buddy. Hey, Steener, a little rebranding happened today with the team, and I'm always curious to find out, like, who actually has input in any of this. And now you're the hockey side, but do they bring it over to you guys at all and see what you think, or are they just like, no, we don't deal with those guys?
No, it was obviously a lot of work, a lot of people putting in a lot of hard work. This was very thought through. I thought it's very exciting. Obviously, myself, a big fan of the bringing in all the history and heritage that this involves, and something that I've been really impressed with since the day I got here is just how connected our organization is with the city, and this does that once again.
Yeah, I agree. And, you and I are in a bit of a unique situation because we were able to wear the blue note. I wore a couple of different variations of it. And, as a player, like, I don't know about you, but as a player, you always want to be proud of what you're wearing. And it's not that you're not proud of the team, but sometimes the uniform makes a difference. At least it did for me. Did it ever feel that way for you?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a little biased, but to me, this logo and the history of it, and it's one of the best ones in sports. And to watch what the organization has done with it once again, and it's pretty cool and very exciting.
Alex Steen joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Alex, obviously it was announced in 24 that, you were promoted as special assistant to general manager. You're going to be the general manager of the Blues in a short while. I mean, when it comes to learning the role under Doug Armstrong, when you first knew that you were going to be, you were going to become general manager, what was the thing that you wanted to learn the most about that job?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Big question. There was a lot of unknowns, I think. But at the same time, I couldn't have been more honored that I was asked and that this was a discussion that we were having at the time. And I think just being able to learn from, again, someone who I think is the best at it in probably in the history of the game, and to be able to work this closely with him. I have a relationship with him since we both got here to St. Louis about 2008, and I knew how he pushed me as a player, and I was looking forward to having him do it on this side too. But I think it's getting to know all the ins and outs of the job and what it entailed in the beginning, and then once we kind of got through that, and I had, I knew what it was about, and that conversation got a little bit more serious, I guess.
Alex, the NHL draft is right around the corner, and I know you all are preparing. What are you all looking for in terms of the types of players, not specific players, but just the types of players that you want to add to this organization?
Well, we've been looking at that 200-foot player that Army spoke about before, but the conversations are always ongoing, and I think you're always looking to improve your team as much as you can. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of young players that I think that are going to take steps, and there's going to be a lot of growth within. I think there's areas for us that we feel like we can, or that we want to improve in going into next year. But I think we're going to have a lot of growth from within also.
Yeah, I agree. And, talking about some of those young players, Steener, I mean, they had such a good season last year. And based on, we'll call it the success of last year, even though I know you guys anticipated making the playoffs, there was a time through the season where I think there maybe were some question marks, but that changed down the stretch when these young guys grabbed a hold of opportunity, veteran players stepped up. But based on that certain level of success, how does that change the approach this offseason for you guys?
I don't know how much it changes the approach. I think the excitement and the belief has grown. I think the players really felt it, and to their credit, there was a collective, and everyone felt aligned in what they wanted to accomplish, and that growth was real. But it came from a investment standpoint. We started investing a little bit more into ourselves and started digging in a little bit more in the details of what we wanted to accomplish. And as that progressed, I think they found kind of their own recipe to it again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And now you and I know you in particular, but we're competitive individuals. And now that you're in a front office position, how hard is it sometimes to stay the course and not become overly competitive when you're looking at teams around you that you're competing with or what they're doing or what they're adding? How hard is it in that office of the group of people that you have to make sure that you stay with the original plan?
Well, that's the Army talks a lot about, the 30,000-foot view. That's our job, is to look at it from that point of view. The competitiveness still there. And I think everybody, regardless of what role or position or job you have within the organization, you have an opportunity to be competitive in your field. And, for us, that's trying to find players or opportunities to improve. And it's our job to make sure that we stick to the plan that we think is and believe in, and work from that point backwards. Is this aligned with what we're trying to do? And are we going to be a more competitive and more balanced team? And that's kind of, but that competitiveness doesn't leave you. It's just in a different fashion. But it needs to, that's why I love working with these great people, is because it's there in all different positions of the organization. Everyone's competing to try and find that extra inch. And for us right now, this is a great time for us, because there's a lot of evaluating from the previous season, but also looking forward into the draft and getting the development camp going here and free agency coming around the corner. So this is a very fun time for sure.
So, Alex, you played 15 years in NHL, and I'm sure you assisted many young players and rookies throughout your entire career. Is the feeling different now in the front office watching a younger player that maybe you helped draft or helped groom to become the player that they are than when you were playing? Does that feel different in the front office than it did as a player?
That's another good question. I don't know that I've thought about it that much, but I think it's fairly similar. I mean, the thing I learned, or the thing as I was going through my own career, and I reflected a lot through my father and his career, I was fortunate enough to have him close to me, so I could always bounce things off him. But the players that always try and foster the younger guys to be better and foster new players for the organization were always players that I looked up to. That was something that I really admired, and I don't think that part has really changed. Our group does a great job of bringing, whether it's a younger guy or a guy that got called up, or we seem to have a great culture of plugging and playing. There's something happens, one guy comes out, we put a new guy in, and the machine just keeps moving forward.
Steen, Army was on our radio network yesterday talking about, next year and whatnot. And the goal, is to get, that 5% better. And everybody always kind of assumes that means going to get players that make you 5% better. I've talked about it on this show, but interested in your thoughts on, do you think that 5% better can simply just be your young guys elevating their game within their growth?
Yeah, absolutely. It could be. It could be a mixture of both. It could be, but I definitely think that's going to be part of it. I mean, we don't really know how high their ceiling is, but I know that they haven't got there yet. They're still growing and gaining experience, and they're a year older now. And, I think looking at our game throughout the course of the 82-game season, past the 26 games there after the Four Nations break, especially then we started to find this almost like a total hockey, a two-way hockey, where we were just as passionate about we had the same level of passion in the defensive game as we had in the offensive game. And when you find that, you're a tough team to beat. It's a really special feeling. You know what that's like in the locker room when you feel like things are just starting to, you're getting that mojo, and I think that's going to be a big part of that 5% going into next season.
Steen, one last one for you here, and I couldn't help but think of this guy today in particular, but when you talked about, that when you got here and some of the older players that were welcoming to younger players or new guys to the team, I just couldn't help but think of Big Walt. Keith Tkachuk. And, I don't know why every year he gets overlooked, at least so far, for the Hockey Hall of Fame. For me, he should have been in there a long time ago. They didn't call me and ask me. Obviously, they probably should, but they didn't. What are some of your memories of Big Walt? And honestly, what's your opinion on him so far not being able to get in?
Yeah, to me, he should be in. I know that's a tough selection year after year, but I mean, what he's done for me since I came even before I came to St. Louis, I got to know him as in Winnipeg a little bit, and then coming here, he really took me under his wing. He has the unique ability to be very professional and ready for the task at hand, but also keeping a light atmosphere and making sure that things aren't tense or anxious in the room. And for me, especially, when I came to St. Louis, it was a time of my career, and really personally also, I needed that. I needed St. Louis. I needed Big Walt and a lot of the guys, the Brewers and Paul Correa's, and it meant a lot to me. That was a very important time in my career, and I credit a lot of where I got to from those guys, and with him in the lead seat there, helping me out and bringing me along.
Alex, we appreciate your time. We're looking forward to seeing what you guys do this offseason, and we can't wait for the future of Blues hockey because it is absolutely bright.
Likewise, we're all excited. So today was a good day. Ribs, you look good, feel good, play good, right?
You know it, baby. Love it. Hey, Steen, thanks a lot for coming on, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hope that the off season's good to you. I know it's going to be stressful coming up here, but that stress is always fun, too. So good luck, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care, Steen. Great stuff from Alex Steen. I loved when he was talking about the competitive aspect, right? Like it just because I know you guys very well, and I know that you guys compete in just some of the goofy things that we do. I can't imagine that Alexander Steen doesn't get into his front office role and not get those competitive juices flowing to try to beat the opposition as well. I mean, this is why we kind of stick in sports.
That's why I asked the question, because we play in a very testosterone-driven sport. And
that's because we go to mentality.
Well, yeah, that too.
Two different locations, one in South County, one in Chesterfield.
But being that you are in a testosterone-driven sport, like the competitiveness, like it's hard to get that same competitiveness no matter what you're doing. You say, oh, well, I play cards. No, it's not the same. It's just not the same. And so when you see...
There's nothing that compares.
There's nothing that compares to it at all. I call it feeding the animal.
Yeah.
And, it's like, so for someone like Steener, who's now trying to feed the animal, I think you have to be very aware of that. The game is different for you now. Be competitive in certain ways, but you can't just look over at, let's say, Nashville or the Minnesota Wild and be like, they added this. We got to keep up with the Jones, and that's how you veer off the course.
Totally.
And so it's good to hear him talk about, there's everybody's competitive within the organization, and Doug is very level-headed about things, and that there's always a plan in place. It's interesting stuff.
Apple has always competed with itself. Apple has always said, what can we do better than we did before?
They're not worried about the other ones.
Yeah, what is our competition doing? No, it's about what we're doing. What can we do to make somebody else's life better or more enhanced? And that's how Apple follows. And I agree. When you start to look around and you say, well, Nashville did this or the Cubs did this and we have to match them, I think you get into big-time trouble as an organization. We'll have more on our interview with Alex Steen. Of course, you can listen to the podcast when it is posted. It's the Schaefer Door Company podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or the 101 app, the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. So if you missed the Steen interview, we will have it posted online. But again, we will react to it in a little bit as well. But Marsh is what's trending for you next.
topics in the sports world?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending? Brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Guys, Carey brought this up earlier. I wanted to revisit this topic. Aaron Rodgers, final year, as he went on the Pat McAfee show today and said, I'm pretty sure this is it. And that's the reason why he signed a one-year deal in Pittsburgh. I have a question for you, gentlemen. What are realistic expectations for Aaron Rodgers this season with Pittsburgh? And what are your expectations for Aaron this season?
Going to be a 9-8 season.
You guys are. What? You go ahead. Nah, I want to hear it. I want to write it down.
You talking about like stats?
Nah, give me some. I need something to write this down so we can keep this in the studio. Jamie.
Just the general feel.
9-8.
9-8.
It's like everything that comes with Aaron Rodgers. Do you think it's going to be a blank show?
No.
A lot of drama, a lot of media coverage.
I think he plays 15 games. I think he throws for 3,500 yards. I think yes.
Marsh, go ahead, because I know what he's terrible.
18 touchdowns.
You're terrible.
Is this Kirk Cousins?
Yes. Yes. I was wondering.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, it's worse. I just goosed it up a little bit, but those are Desmond Ridder numbers.
Oh.
I was going to say, did Kirk even play 15 games?
No. That's Desmond Ridder numbers under already the one-man party.
That's actually not 3,500 yards?
No, he didn't. 35? I goosed him.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, he only threw for 2,800.
Oh, okay.
But that was too low.
So what record?
He ain't going to put on a show. It's Arthur Smith.
What record do you say?
I say they go 9-8.
Okay. Marshy?
I say they start fast and completely collapse. I think they're one of like the talks of the NFL in the first half, and then just completely collapse in November and December. I mean, it's nasty in November and December.
Well, I'm looking at their first
Miami Dolphin-like collapse under Mike McDaniel in the second half.
I see them. I like their first 3 weeks. You have the Jets, Seahawks, Patriots.
Win, loss.
Maybe. Then you take on the Vikings.
Seahawks going to be tough this year.
What the hell? He's doubling down on the damn Darnold. Doubling down on the Darnold.
I'm not even rooting for him. I just said he's got a fair amount to prove.
Guys, they got a pretty tough schedule. You have Bengals week 7.
They don't play defense.
But they play offense.
Yeah.
You got Green Bay, Indy, the Chargers, Anthony's favorite quarterback. Maybe
schedule.
Second now. Bengals again, of course.
I don't love Sam Darnold.
You have a new look Chicago Bears. You have the Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Lions, Ravens again.
8-2.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think the highest they get in terms of wins, and this is a stretch, 10.
Look at 10 wins. So mad.
I think
10
9
wins. Do you think it's better for the NFL if they make the playoffs, though?
Oh, they'll make the playoffs. They'll figure it out. Bounce in the first round.
Make sure I save this.
We all said they're a playoff team. It's not like we're slighting them.
That's cool.
What do you have, Mr. Steeler?
Jets win, Seahawks, Patriots 3-0. We'll see what the Vikings look like with old JJ. I mean, I don't expect much from him. Get after him. 4-0, 5-0 against the Browns.
Oh my God.
Bengals. Hey, the Browns?
Yeah, that's funny. I'm just laughing at you saying 5-0.
5-0, Browns game. Bengals, This is a primetime game. Maybe you're 6-1. Well, 6-2 maybe versus the Packers. 7-2 versus the Colts. 8-2 to the Chargers. You usually split that game versus the Bengals. So if you lost the first one, you'll win the second one. 9-2.
He said 9-2.
What the hell are we doing?
And then, yeah,
What the hell
Then you got
are
the
we doing?
Bears. 10-2. Then you got the Bills. 10-3. Ravens again, generally split. 10-4. Dolphins. You said they stink. They're going to fire their coach. 11-4. Lions. Probably a loss there. 11-5. 12-5 versus the Browns. And I told you beat the Ravens. What am I? 11-5. 12-5.
13-5.
13-5. Is that 18 games?
That is 18 games.
Is that how many games they play?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, I got it wrong. 12-5.
Yeah.
18 weeks.
18 weeks, 17
right.
games.
Yeah, so losses to the Lions.
Okay.
18
Split with the
games when
Bengals
they
and the
make the
Ravens.
playoffs, Anthony, and win that one,
What are you
right?
talking about?
Because here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Here we go.
Yeah, you're down 9 wins. You take your 9 wins and shovel it.
Wow. I thought we were being kind of generous,
I didn't even
to be
think we're going to
honest.
get to 9 wins, to be honest.
Nah, let me write that down.
Thought we just
Don't even
being
really
fair.
think it'll be 9 wins.
No,
thought
probably
we were being
won't.
very respectful.
Well, if you count some preseason wins, maybe they'll get there.
Okay.
Marge, what else you got?
No, that's it, gentlemen. I think we end on that.
Okay. It's true. Carey's got him winning 12 games. I think that is a mic drop. We got the biggest question of the day. It is Cardinal related. That's next on 101 ESPN.
biggest question of the day, brought to you by Mentality. Our patients experience a 30% increase in testosterone levels. Reclaim your health at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Time for the biggest question of the day here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. 5:03, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marshy, what is the biggest question of the day?
All right, gentlemen. I'm looking at this sheet right now.
The sheet of biggest questions of the day.
Are the Cardinals balancing runway and reward properly?
All right, so this came from the mind of Jamie Rivers through Katie Wu, or vice versa. She asked Ollie Marmol how he's evaluating the runway versus the results for the Cardinals this year, with the Cardinals shaping up to be contenders, and thought this was a telling answer, writes Katie Wu, as to how he feels about Burleson's play this season. Expect Burleson to remain in the starting lineup going forward. Here's what Ollie said about, again, balancing being competitive and, you know, giving somebody enough runway, somebody like Alec Burleson who deserves to be in the lineup. Ollie says, I think we've balanced playing time well up to this point, but you have to reward guys that have run with it. It's not a 50-50 balance, in my opinion, he added. I think you have to start tilting and leaning towards guys that are performing play. Are performing play?
Hey, man. Performing with their play?
I don't know. Sure. Performing well, maybe. You need to reward guys that are actually taking steps in the right direction while still being committed to the work with the guys that aren't taking those big leaps. Up to this point, it hasn't been the easiest to balance, but I think we've done it. But I'd also like to reward guys that are doing a good job. Do you think to this point the Cardinals are balancing that runway? Hey, you're allowed to struggle, but you know what? We also have to reward guys that are performing well. Do you think that they've struck a good balance with that?
So far, yeah, but it's going to get worse or harder. That's a better way to put it. Because early in the season, I don't know what the expectations were from a wins and losses standpoint. And the Cardinals were selling us, maybe a poor use of the word, on the youth movement, and this is what we're going with, and there's going to be some bumps on the road along the way, but this is what we're doing. Then they were winning, and they kept winning, and it became a pretty good team here in the meantime, and they're only 3.5 games back of the Central Division lead now. So from this point moving forward, so to me there's like 2 stages left. From here to the trade deadline to the end of the season. How do the Cardinals handle things? Because if they're 3.5 to less games back of the division lead, it's pretty tough to just say, well, if Walker's, 0 for 12 or 0 for 15 in the series, we're just going to keep rolling them out there.
Yeah.
When the rest of the team, that's the hardest part in sports, is having a team that's so close to a playoff spot. And if a team decides to just keep rolling out players who aren't doing the job, because then the other percentage of players that are there that are playing well and trying to win games, they get frustrated. And you actually can end up with some tension in your clubhouse / locker room because certain players just keep getting rolled out there and they're not doing the job, and you want to win. You want to get into the playoffs.
Right.
So I think that up to this point, they've done a really good job of spreading around the plate appearances and the playing time and all that stuff. But when Herrera gets back, and as they get closer to the deadline and towards the end of the season where there's really meaningful games, I'll be interested to see if they keep up what they're doing right now.
I think they've done a fantastic job. I think Alec Burleson has earned the right to play. I think Nolan Gorman has been hitting home runs. Jordan Walker, before he got injured, was hitting the ball pretty well. He was starting to ascend. Then he hurt his wrist and had to miss time, and he hasn't done nearly as much since he's returned. And you play the players that are earning the right to play. You don't. Jordan Walker isn't in the lineup again tonight. I don't know if it's the right-handed pitching aspect of it, but those guys are earning their right. And sometimes it's unfortunate. Sometimes you get injured, you get banged up, and somebody takes your spot. Sometimes you take a day off, and then they name something after you, call you Wally Pippen. Wally Pippen.
Yeah.
So, it's about producing. And that's what this business is. It's professional sports is literally what have you done for me lately? Mm-hmm. And that's every single day. And that's all they care about is what you're doing now. And if you aren't performing well, you aren't going to get to play while those that are performing well do. And I think that that's only right.
Yeah.
I think every professional athlete can accept that, can understand. You might be frustrated or pissed off about it, but at the end of the day, your performance is what allows you to play and what allows you to get paid.
Yeah.
So if you aren't performing well, you don't get to play and you're not going to get paid.
At some point, though, if Jordan Walker's not playing that much, you gotta set him down in AAA. He needs at bats. You're not gonna not chase the outside slider by sitting on the bench. And I heard BK and Ferrario talking about this, and I think T-Bone was one that said, he could be he's basically turned into a late game like defensive replacement. If that's what he is right now, you set him down. He's got to get at bats. So I don't know if you're there yet. But I don't know where you're getting him into the lineup if you're not, something's got to give. And if Walker, how many games in a row is this now for Walker?
I think 3 or 4, where he hasn't played.
He's going to get sent down.
Probably.
Bench guys are just that. They fill in. You're fine with it.
Well, you'd be better off to send Walker down and bring up Lukenbaker.
Sure. Yeah,
because you're not playing
fine in a bench role,
but you're not playing Walker against righty pitching, and you're not going to do that with Lukenbaker.
Right.
Lukenbaker mashes left-handed pitching more so than Walker does, even. So, and he doesn't require any playing time.
Right.
What does sending Walker down? What type of message does that send to not only him but to the fans?
You got to get better. You got to get better, and he's got to get better.
Got to be more consistent. They got wait, who?
Walker.
Oh, I thought you said you got to get better.
Yeah,
and
Marsh.
He's got to be better.
Right, Marsh said.
You meant like the fans got to be better.
I'm not Greg Amsinger. No.
Oh, okay.
Marsh.
Wow. Can you say that?
No, he's factually
I'm factually not Greg Amsinger.
Stalter. You're right.
We're all confused over this.
Just making sure.
The worst thing that happened to this show was we had that meeting today. Because now we're all like, what do we say? No, Marsh asked, what kind of message are you sending to Jordan Walker? My message to him is you have to get better, and we're going to get you better, but it's going to have to be at the AAA level. And Marsh then asked, and what message are you sending to the fans? The message is he's got to get better.
Yeah.
Fans aren't stupid.
Nope.
If you weren't winning, different story. Different story. You're like, hey, man, you get all the runaway that we offer, man. Go for it. But you're winning. The worst thing to happen to Jordan Walker, a struggling Jordan Walker, is the Cardinals are winning.
I don't understand. It's not great because everybody's, the poor guy, the kid. He's only 22 or 23. I forgot to look that up again, but I know
23.
He's 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He has lots of time. There's kids that come out of college at 23, 24. They've never taken a major league at bat yet, and they go to AAA. And they
Jamie, I'm 43. I still haven't gotten a AAA at bat
yet. But I just don't see. I think it's more negative to have a player that's playing at the highest level and failing than to send him down to AAA and have him be more successful.
Yes.
What is there to learn, though, that he hasn't
consistency
already done in AAA?
He's never raked in AAA. He's been fine. It's not like he was Gorman and some of these guys are just raking in AAA. You're like, oh, yeah. He's never been down there, been the best player on the field every night.
I agree with you. I understand your question. I do. I think he's got more to prove at AAA in terms of, look, your strike zone, your plate approach, you're way off again.
Yeah.
He had a little bit of a hot streak. He got hurt and then came back and started struggling again.
Mm-hmm.
He's not right. Like his plate appearance, his pitch awareness is just not there, right? Like he doesn't have the ability to lay off those pitches that are on the outside or not collapse his backside consistently. I mean, it's all the same issues that we have seen with Walker have repeated again.
And what if it's a situation, guys, where like Matthew Liberatore, the one thing that John Mozeliak harped on, and Ollie Marmos talked about, is how during this offseason in particular, Matthew Liberatore matured from the standpoint of he knew he had to be more involved in his own career. Got in better shape, did more work. He's 25 years old. Maybe Jordan Walker hasn't gotten to that point yet. And I'm not saying he is or he isn't, but what if he's not putting in the right work right now? What if he's not able to get the right work because they're working with Donovan, Burleson, Arenado? Maybe he needs to go down and get that work ethic in place and work alongside the coaching staff whose only mission is to get him to the majors. Like sometimes that step backwards can help you long term.
I just hope he hasn't, he hasn't already peaked. Right? Like, there's a lot of players that are highly touted players that never end up panning out because there's a certain element to their game that they can't adjust to.
Yeah.
You can hit pitchers at lower levels because those pitchers aren't Major League Baseball pitchers.
Sure.
So
I get it. At some point, he's got to prove it at the big league level, not just say, hey, he's fixed at AAA. I understand what you're saying. With Burleson hitting as well as he has, though, and you're winning games, again, if you're not going to get consistent ABs here, you have to. He's too young to be a bench
Text
bat.
line has a good one here. Says he's basically the same age as J.J. Weatherholt, who's playing double A ball right now.
Good call.
Trying to figure things out.
Walrus King confirmed he just turned 23.
Okay.
Waterboy says, well, if you're talking about me, you'd be willing to play second base. Maybe you could get a AAA at bat.
I think we figured out you're willing to play second base.
Yeah, I'm totally willing. Yeah. Yeah, that's no problem.
Let's call up the Hoots aren't AAA, but.
Yeah, I'll go to the Hoots.
Yeah.
Love the Hoots. Love hitting in that stadium. We all do.
Yeah.
Very much so. It's
Miss
not
that
great.
place.
It's not great for lefties, but,
Not the best for lefties, no. Nope.
Oh, well.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We talked to Alex Steen about a half hour ago, 45 minutes ago. Going to unearth some of the stuff that he said, go over some of the stuff, react to some of the things that he said, including whether or not the roster, if they're changing their approach to free agency based on what they currently have at the roster. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey Davis for Genesis of St. Charles, and let Genesis of St. Charles introduce you to the suite life of benefits designed to exceed your expectations. If you haven't been to their new facility, it is beautiful. It's a wonderful facility. It's located right off of Mid Rivers Mall Drive and Highway 70 in St. Charles, and they have the large selection of new Genesis models in stock ready for you to take home today. Stop in for exclusive in-store offers. They're Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership. You can get 36,000 miles or 3 years of complimentary warranty guaranteed, whichever comes first. 24/7 luxury roadside assistance for 5 years, whether you need a tire change, transportation to the nearest Genesis retailer, gas or more, they've got you covered. And if you're a busy person, don't have time to step foot into the store, you never have to. They have clear upfront pricing online, including your trade-in, and even can have it delivered up to 100 miles from the dealership. All you need to do is visit them online at genesisofstcharles.com. That's genesisofstcharles.com.
You know, and the Army talks a lot about, the 30,000-foot view. That's our job, is to look at it from that point of view. The competitiveness still there. And I think everybody, regardless of what role or position or job you have within the organization, you have an opportunity to be competitive in your field. And, for us, that's trying to find, players or opportunities to improve. And it's our job to make sure that we stick to the plan that we think is and believe in, and work from that point backwards. Is this aligned with what we're trying to do, and are we going to be a more competitive and more balanced team? That competitiveness doesn't leave you.
That was Alex Steen, who joined us earlier today. Carey and Jamie, you guys both started to chuckle when Alex Steen said that, and that was one of the things that we reacted to earlier. It's that competitive fire that doesn't leave you. It doesn't matter if you're playing, you're coaching, or in Alex Steen's from his standpoint, being in the front office for the Blues, you find ways to either compete with somebody else or compete with yourself to get better. And that, I think, is one of the benefits to having a former player in that front office role.
Yeah, you definitely, it's all about, the things that get you to that point are the things that are going to allow you to keep going forward, and being competitive and having that competitive nature, having an ability. I don't know if you can turn it on and turn it off, but knowing when to, like you said, Jamie, not just going overboard because someone else did, like knowing the right places, picking your spots, when to make those decisions. And really that's what allowed you to be successful in your career, and ultimately what's going to allow him to be successful in his second career is that desire to win, to be competitive, to put together a team that is competing night in and night out, and knowing kind of the recipe for what that looks like in building a team, having played on those teams and having started your second career in that way as well.
Yeah, and I think it's the key to it all is finding a way to be competitive that helps the group too. It's not just a bravado thing to where you're trying to keep up with a certain team or another GM or whatever the case may be, a transaction that happens. I think it's being competitive within the group. And I think what Steener said, too, that was really interesting is that, they have so many people that are part of all of this stuff, and everybody's competitive in their own right. And so I think that, for me, a healthy boardroom for the St. Louis Blues is Al McInnes challenging Keith Tkachuk, Scott Mellenby challenging Alex Steen challenging Doug Armstrong. And I don't mean to a fight. I mean just pushing them, finding out why. What's your why on this player? What's your why not on this player?
Sure.
Why do you think he is worthy? Why, like that, to me, when you have a group of very, very smart people that are very smart hockey-wise as well, that to me is where your competition comes in. Now you're competing to show people why what you're saying is the right move and why we should be doing this. To me, that's a healthy environment of a team that's going to make more good decisions than just hair-trigger bad decisions.
Scouting is not easy. Scouting a player is not easy, especially when the player's young, unproven. But scouting can be difficult, too, when you're looking at other teams, how they fit into your system, or even when it comes to signing a free agent at some point, and whether or not those stats, somebody that played in Carolina on a certain line, can they come over and play in this line and you get the same production, if not more? Like, these are all things that Steen's going to be faced with. So for you, Jamie, when you're watching a certain player, even at the youngest of levels in like your synergy camps and things like that, what are certain things that stand out to you that you can pick up as a former player that maybe Steen will too? Well, yeah. So for me, it's compete right away. I as far as skills, so let's separate this. If I'm talking about a pro hockey player, I'm looking for a certain level of compete all the time. Now, I'm also with the younger player, I'm looking for compete at the same time. Because if you don't have a competitive player, then that player is not going to compete within themselves to even get better. And so with the young kids, I want kids that when they fall down, they get up. They fall down, they get up. Then they're banging their stick. They're mad because they keep falling down. Listen, I can tell you why you're falling down, and I can fix that. The fact that it drives you crazy, though,
That's what I need from you. So now when you teach them how to do, like the Kachuk boys, I tell this story all the time. Working with them from the time they were just young kids to the time now in the NHL, still currently. And their compete level is through the roof. With themselves, with each other, with the drill, with skating, with shooting, with stick handling. That's what I look for. I look for the athlete that is never satisfied. They want to continue to get incrementally better every time they touch the ice. That's what I need on my hockey team. The rest of it now, do they fit within, if we go back to the NHL level, do they fit within the system that we play? Well, that's important too, because I could have a real competitive player that doesn't want to play a certain style and it doesn't work. So you have your levels that you look at. Compete stylistically, and are they a good teammate? Yeah. That's important. Because if you bring in a competitive a-hole, that may not mix well with your group. And like a guy like Evander Kane, his name pops up a lot because he comes in, he's there for a bit, then he wears out his welcome because his true colors start to present themselves where he's not the greatest teammate. He's a competitive dude. He can help your hockey club, but he can also hurt your hockey club. And so that, to me, I'm like, pass. No, thank you. Then you have a guy like Cam Fowler. Competitive guy, rather quiet personality, but he's an unbelievable teammate. There's not one person that I talked to right after that trade that I could find that said anything negative about Cam Fowler. And I'm like, this is a hit. Like, this is going to be good.
If you had to rank these three things in order of importance, how would you rank them? Compete, skill, hockey IQ.
Could I add clear it to that?
That would be number one.
Deuce brought it up, ability to clear it. Yeah.
So it's, for me, it'd be compete, hockey IQ, then skill. Because if a player has the hockey IQ, you can work with them on refining their skills. Because I've seen a lot of players, and in scouting players and watching games, super skilled, super dumb. A million miles an hour down the ice, toe dragging the hell out of everybody, but accomplishes nothing.
Instead of maybe putting the puck past the defenseman and going in.
Or making a simple tape-to-tape pass to a teammate who's in a better spot.
I would go high IQ first and then compete and then skill. Skill would be, at some point everybody is skillful. They all have a certain level of skills. But the high IQ players, I think, make the team better because they know exactly, no matter what sport, they know what to do and what not to do. And then the competitive part, for me, I love intelligent players because they just they make the game much easier.
Carey, and one, we're splitting hairs.
Yeah. It's not by
number
much.
one, number two,
right.
It's like a 1A, 1B.
Yeah. The one thing that, if you have a smart player first, doesn't necessarily mean they're competing hard. Whereas in the reverse, if I have a competitive player, now that they think the game properly, but again, splitting hairs.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd say that, depending on the day of the week, depending on the player, either one of us.
Either one is fine,
Yes.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marshall, Anthony Stalter. We do need a new Beat the Streak contestant. Our guy yesterday.
Yeah, Mason Wynn?
Yeah. One and done. Oh, man, that's rough. Wynn was the only one that didn't get a hit.
Except for Wynn.
Man, so we do need a new Beat the Streak contestant. So feel free to text in BTS to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. What's up, Carey?
I haven't gotten hit in like 4 games.
Is that coming off your...
That is factually accurate.
Yep.
So, guys, can I just address one question quick? Because it'll take me forever to type it out on the thing. From the 618, they said, how do you see that compete, Jamie? Do they ask more questions? Is it something their body language, etc.? The number one way for me to see compete, if I'm serious about a player, I watch the way they practice. Because in a game, it's easy to turn it on, whatnot, and kids or people, pros who don't compete in practice will eventually hit their ceiling faster and earlier than someone who's just continuously competing all the time. So I watch how a player practices, and then you see if it translates into the game, and that to me is how you recognize the compete.
Good call. All right, we'll play Beat the Streak and Bet the Board next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals win last night over the Chicago Cubs by a final score of 8-2. They're back at it again tonight at Busch Stadium, 6:45 first pitch, with Michael McGreevy on the mound going up against Jameson Taillon. If you have missed anything from today's show, including our interview with Stanley Cup champ and future general manager of your St. Louis Blues, Alexander Steen, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have a new Beat the Streak contestant. We'll also play Bet the Board next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
To hit baseballs.
All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
All right, time to play Beat the Streak here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Shane, who's our latest contestant here. What's up, Shane?
What's up, dude?
You ready to rock?
Absolutely.
All right, good. You know how this works, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Shane's locked in. He's ready to go. Marsh, what are our latest streaks?
Anthony, you have a streak of 10.
What's that now?
You have a streak of 10.
Wow.
Jamie has a streak of 3.
Oh, baby.
I have a streak of 2. Carey's at 0.
Been there for a while.
And Shane is our new contestant today.
Okay. All right, guys, you guys know that I typically go with players that I don't think have any chance of hell of getting a hit. So, like last night, I went Victor Scott because he's been struggling a lot. I'm actually going to kind of go with a reverse theory here. There is somebody in this Cardinals lineup that is due for an O for gopher. This guy's been so red hot. This guy is going to go O for gopher tonight. Give me Alec Burleson, please.
He's terrible.
No, Alec Burleson's been great, Carey.
You're such a piece of garbage.
Jamie went Burley three times in a row.
You know that's a compliment to me. Thank you. Jamie, you're up.
Yeah, this guy knocked the cover off the ball last night. I mean, he's an international superstar. He'll probably get a hit for sure.
Why not make it a home run, Jamie?
Yeah, make it a home run for sure. Because, he's been so good yesterday. I'll take Newt-Bar.
The Newt.
I'm going to double down.
Despite you son of a...
Double down today with Nolan Arenado, as he is batting .440 against Jameson Taillon in 25 at-bats.
Holy smoke job. Shane, you're up.
Well, you guys didn't lead me much. You took the leading hitter on the team, the half-baked superstar that we have.
Half-baked? We don't know that.
I'm going to go with the Cub killer, Wilson Contreras.
Yes.
All right, good call.
Yeah, he's got the high numbers against the Cubs since he's been gone, so.
Yeah.
Look for him today, right?
Which Cub would you like, Gary?
Brendan Donovan.
Oh, he doesn't.
No, they haven't traded him.
Wow.
He is.
Taking a Cardinal.
Wow.
Anthony.
Wow. Okay. All right, so I took Alec Burleson. I don't know. You're mad at me. I can see why he is. But you, Carey. All right, I took Alec Burleson. Jamie took the Newt. Marsh took Nolan Arenado. Our listener Shane just selected the Cub killer, Wilson Contreras. And Carey, despite typically going with his Cubs, he actually went with Brendan Donovan tonight.
We wear those blue Cubs glasses all the time.
It's Dodger blue. Like
all right. Shane, good luck to you, man.
I appreciate it. Good luck, guys.
Jamie, now, did you say that you took Newt in spite of me?
No, I didn't say anything, Anthony.
Okay. Because I have Newt to hit a home run, so I'm rooting for you tonight, Jamie.
I'm fine.
All right.
I'm rooting for you, too.
Thank you. I can tell by just the tone of your voice that you mean that.
You do.
Marshy. Fire away. All right, what are the latest standings?
Anthony, you're inching closer. Jamie in the lead still with 10 points. I'm right behind him with 9. Anthony, you are now at 8. And Carey, his parlay did not hit last night.
Oh, no, Carey.
I'd have been
By 1.
9.
He's at 5.
You all laughed at me.
Nobody laughed at you. Not one person laughed at you.
All right, whatever.
We were a little confused that you didn't just go for broke and have more than just 4, but
clearly didn't work out either way.
It's all good, though.
Tough. You tried, man. That's all that matters. All right, is it me?
Yeah.
All right. Give me the Diamondbacks tonight on the money line. They're playing that juggernaut, the Chicago White Sox, minus 124.
I'm going to go back to my double play.
Take a look.
But this time, I'm going with the Cardinals to turn a double play tonight. And that is at minus 145.
You love that.
Love the double play. Play.
All right, boys. Give me the Detroit Tigers over 4.5 total runs tonight against just the Athletics.
The Athletics.
Give me Juan Soto, 1.5 hits runs. Wow. Minus 120.
Okay.
What has he ever done?
A whole lot.
Okay.
Marsh, what were you laughing at, pal?
Oh, we just got a text from the 816. You mentioned that we weren't laughing at Carey because of his parlay not hitting.
Mm-hmm.
But the 816 did remind us that we did laugh at you, Anthony, for your Sam Darnold take.
Oh, no, I remember. That went on for a while. That's how I remembered it. I've been hitting the head a lot.
Well, no. Well,
I've hit my head on a lot of things a lot.
Yeah.
And the Sam Darnold thing just really stuck out. You guys hated that take. With
it
a
wasn't
passion.
really a take. It was just weird that you felt like he has the most to prove.
I actually didn't think that I don't think he has the most to prove. I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have the most to prove.
So you made a point. You had a point to prove by picking him.
Well, I just wanted to offer another. I just offered another alternative, something outside the box, creative.
It sure was.
Innovative.
I don't know if any of those things.
A real divergent thinker.
I told you,
I
you
am.
could have stopped there. Not creative nor innovative.
Well, if you guys didn't have it, it's technically creative then.
It was a take.
Yeah.
You are divergent, Anthony.
Thank you. You ever see that movie? That documentary?
I have. Those people were on the run.
Yeah, they were for a long time.
Apparently, they're a threat to society. Thinking outside of the box.
Oh, that's about right.
Exactly.
Explains it all.
You know, that reminds me of another documentary that I saw one time where this young girl decided to save her younger sister from this deadly game of be the last one to survive, kill everybody. Crazy documentary, but eventually the rebels won.
You know what's funny about that?
They rallied around that girl, too.
They certainly did.
What's funny about that documentary is that they changed the rules.
They did.
They changed the rules, much like we change the rules all the time in this studio.
Totally. They couldn't win, so the rules got changed.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's weird how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie yet?
No. I have not. The trailer looked a little too creepy.
You should ask him that every day.
I told you he was jacked up.
What's it called?
What's inside?
It's what's inside.
It's what's inside.
Okay.
Jamie, I watched that movie. I've never been the same.
It looks psychedelic.
It's rough.
It's kind of
what platform?
Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this the one where they switch bodies?
It's awful.
Okay, so that's the one we're talking about.
That is the one I saw.
Nah.
Did you see it?
Nah, you didn't see that one. I don't know why you
switching.
keep. Yeah, I don't know why you keep doing that.
They don't switch like that.
Oh, no. It's not the one where at the start they put all the car keys in the bucket?
No.
It's not that one?
No.
Oh.
No, that's different.
Oh, my bad. Then I guess I haven't seen this one.
Let's wrap up the show next on 101 ESPN.
I think.
Jamie, I love when people come up to you and I and they say, "Hey, we hear you talking about mentality. Does it work?" That's always the question that we get, right? Does it work? It absolutely works. It's incredible. You just sit down with their board-certified physicians. You tell them how you're feeling. For Jamie and I, it was run down, lethargic, multiple different jobs for both you and I. Always got kind of overweight. I certainly was at one point too. You don't feel great. You're moody, and that impacts all cases of your life. It's a lot of these symptoms are because of low testosterone. And Jamie, when you go down to mentality and you sit down and you talk to them, they draw your blood, and you are low on T. You're like, well, okay. Most guys deal with this. So what can be done? Their program is great.
Yeah, get on board, man. Stop feeling ashamed of things. And, I think the first thing for me is, I felt like, maybe I'm not the man I used to be. Well, no, you're not, actually. So get back to that. The people at Mentality are fantastic. Staff is so inviting. You get in there, it's like a clubhouse. It's like a locker room environment. You're talking to the other guys, and they're talking about their program, your program. Everybody's talking about positive things. Mm-hmm. And that's really where you can see a difference. Is yes, the program's fantastic, but it's great for your mental health as well. And like you said, Anthony, covered by most insurances out there, 2 locations to choose from. When you get into either location, please tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. They love hearing that. They're going to take great care of you as always. And for more information about my friends over at Mentality, you can always visit the website, mentalityhealth.com/radio. Again, that's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
you missed anything from today's show, including our chat with Alex Steen, you can always check out the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. And guys, all the podcasts, of course, brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. Time to find out what everybody learned today. Why don't we start off with Marsh?
Guys, I learned that TMA ended up getting Blues swag.
What?
The rebrand. Huh? We didn't.
Well, at least the Riz show didn't get anything.
No, Anthony, I think they did too.
You got to be steel boot fast laning me right now. Are you serious?
Not fast laning you at all, Anthony. It's a damn shame. The NBA guy. The NBA guy.
Yeah, the guy who thinks Alex Pietrangelo plays with the Oilers.
Unbelievable. Who?
The Houston Oilers?
Well, why did you think I meant those uniforms, Carey? Those uniforms are awesome.
You said the Titans uniforms.
Yeah.
You said the
Titans.
Titans,
You said
not
the
the
blue.
Oilers.
You said the blue Titans. The Titans wear the old Oilers Love Your Blues. Like, those are amazing. What are you talking about?
Those are amazing.
I don't know why you would be talking about
Why
those.
would you jump to their alternate jerseys that they wear once a year?
That's because that's the only one that matters. I don't even know that they
This is
wear.
what we can agree on. Jamie.
Yeah, I learned that you really have to be careful what you say now, and if it's a joke, you better make damn sure you say it's a joke.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there could be legal ramifications. I'm kind of horrified to do the show on a daily basis now.
Yeah.
Especially with Carey, the things he says.
This is true.
Carey.
You know, I learned, well, I love my teammates. I love you guys.
Oh, here comes
But
a
I
crap
learned
sandwich.
that you guys don't love me. Talked about my Steelers in a way that,
Carey offered to save your life if you were joking.
Not how I prefer not. I learned that my teammates, who I dearly love, don't care about me. Said, well, Steelers will be lucky to win 9 games. Probably won't do that. Head coach will probably get fired too. That guy sucks. What has he ever done?
Nobody's ever said
You all said it. I heard it. I wrote it down in my notebook. It's in my damn notebook. It's there. So when the Steelers are 11-2, I'm gonna show you this damn notebook. And
I thought they were winning.
Rub it in your face.
12 games.
No,
or 13.
11-2
to start.
Gonna end up 12-5. Well, it's 1-3 in the last 4, but it's okay. Be fine going into the playoffs.
I don't think you wanted to connect those dots like you just did.
It's because they'll be resting their starters, Anthony.
Winning the division.
That makes sense.
Is that right?
For sure. Yeah.
Put that together how I needed to, but
yeah, that's all right. That's all right. You landed the plane. That's all that matters. Jamie, you and I are on the same page here. I am now terrified to do the show after listening to the meeting, the 1-hour meeting with corporate today about all the things we can and cannot say.
Can we put a disclaimer in just at the end of the show, right before the say ya, like that whole thing, where it's like the opinions of the are not necessarily true.
Yeah.
They might be joking, and please don't sue us. Like the Pat McAfee thing. Every time he comes back, he has that.
They still got sued. They still got sued.
I know, but we don't have money. Pat McAfee does.
Yeah, good call. You know what? That should be the disclaimer. If you sue, just understand, none of us have money.
You'll never get anything.
No. I think that's a really good way to put it, Jamie.
We can give away like a 101 ESPN prize pack.
we don't got nothing to give.
We don't have access. We can't do that.
No, we can't. That's That's a rider.
We have to get clearance for that before we can say it on the air.
We got nothing.
Right.
We got nothing to give.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Except for hard work, compete,
dedication,
IQ,
and clearing it.
Clearing it.
Clearly.
All
right, Marsh, what do you got?
Yeah, how about Marsh's burner? Just tuned in and heard something about Petro and the Oilers. Must be talking Piddles.
Yep.
Yeah. Action Jackson. Does a incredible job on TMA as their producer.
636 says, I bet Jamie Rivers got some Blues gear. He's holding out on you guys.
Whoa. Jamie wouldn't do that.
You don't think he got anything? Look at his face. He
Jamie.
got something.
Jamie.
What?
You said you were at a doctor's appointment today.
I did.
Were you not going to that? Were you going to the Blues and getting a bunch of swag?
No, guys, honestly, I got nothing either. My feelings are hurt.
We're asking.
It's in the mail.
And honestly, it's disturbing that you haven't answered this yet.
I'm telling you right now, I haven't been offered any gear. I don't know of any on the way, and I don't have any yet. I'm just as hurt as you guys are.
Yeah. I heard it.
Well, who knows? They might send a whole care package for the show after they hear us crying about it. And I'm
crying?
Chappie, you hear me, right? Like
we're just making statements.
Steve Chapman, your son has worked for me for several years.
Several.
I remember he attended so many Synergy hockey camps. I know you have tons of Synergy hockey T-shirts at home. Maybe that's the barter system, Chappie?
Jamie. Yeah, he's going to get us that gear.
We're a large.
Yeah. You guys ready for those 3 stars?
Sure.
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 Stars of the Day. Presented by Circus Sports Illinois. Sports betting the way it should be.
All right, our 3rd star of the day is going to go out to Alex, who sought revenge for his brother, and he got it.
Yeah.
He got it today.
Ouch.
So
Alex.
Alex is our...
I can't clap for that one. Our guy Jamie is hurting still.
No, he's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
See? Yeah. Golf clap.
One of you guys going to take him out behind the woodshed tomorrow. That's why.
For sure. I think he's going for Carey next.
Guys, our 2nd star of the day goes out to out-of-the-box thinkers. Those divergent, out-of-the-box thinkers.
Who thinks he's...
I think that's smart, Marsh.
You would.
And of course, our first star of the day is being factually accurate.
Yes, of course.
Please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Or if you have an opinion, just make sure you state it as such.
We get a little text message from my guy Brian, who works at the STL Authentics store. Says, I hear you guys. Can't really do much about it now, but I'll make it known.
Yes. Baby. For Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, for Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.